Good morning, I'm Eric Reeser. It's been 9 years since the Pittsburgh Steelers won a playoff game. That streak will continue as the Texans went into the Steel City last night for the final game in the wild card round. Houston scored 23 unanswered in the fourth quarter en route to a 30-6 win. Texans are on to the divisional round to battle the Patriots in New England Sunday at 3. In college football, Ohio State signed 5 players out of the transfer portal Monday, 2 of them from Alabama. Defensive end Quay Rousseau and defensive tackle James Smith. They got a veteran quarterback, Justin Martin, comes over from UCLA. Buckeyes have 11 total transfers and will likely add more as the portal window closes on Friday. In college hoops, the basketball Buckeyes look to rebound from Sunday's loss at Washington. Ohio State will host UCLA Saturday at 1. Hear from OSU's head coach today at noon on the Jake Niebler Show. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets fired Dean Evason on Monday and named veteran NHL coach Rick Bowness as his replacement. Aaron Portzline covers the CBJ for The Athletic. He'll join Bo Bishop in 30 minutes right here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Tom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then
it's a rundown.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Aaron Portzline going to join us at 9:30 on the coaching change with your Columbus Blue Jackets. 10:30, Uncle Dom stops by for a little Tuesdays with Tiberi. A little bit of Shelley time coming up at 11:30. So we'll get the former player analyst perspective, and then Porty, the one-man beat, get his perspective on the Dean Evason firing, which took place yesterday afternoon. And we will get into that coming up in about 15 minutes from now. Also got your Real Truth, your NFL Blitz, as we're loaded up on a Tuesday edition of the program. Did want to start here. Ohio State, and it seems like everybody else of the blue chip variety decided yesterday was the day that they were going to engage in the NIL world. This weekend, certainly. My hunch is that this was all part of the plan, that some of this, at least, was all part of the plan. And the idea of let the market settle a little bit and then see what kind of the real truth is on what some of these guys are worth. So Ohio State had a very big day yesterday. I can't come on here. It'd be disingenuous to come on here and tell you that I know that defensive tackle James Smith, who spent last season at Alabama and is a 5-star in the portal, I take your word for it. Whoever is giving him the 5 stars beats me. I don't know. Qua Rassah, another defensive end from Alabama who jumped into the portal as well and became a Buckeye. They rated him as a 4-star. Smith's a senior, so grown man there. Rassah is a redshirt junior, so grown man there. So you're getting some veteran experience on that side of things. But these are not guys that I vetted. I'm not paying attention to Alabama football in that respect in terms of I know how their defensive line is playing on a week-in, week-out basis. Don't know, but we'll see. The pedigree is nice. The fact that they were at Bama was nice. The fact that they were starters and contributors, that's all nice. In addition to that, quarterback Justin Martin comes over. He's UCLA via Maryland. Do I have that right? Or Maryland via UCLA, whatever it is. This is third school for him, and he'll add depth to the room on that side of things. Justin, Northwestern tight end Hunter Welsing comes in as well. Terry Moore's the one that everyone's excited about. He's the safety at Duke who was hurt last year. He got in yesterday in the class, and then Earl Little Jr., we talked about him. And so in totality, 11 portal players have signed on the line, which is dotted to become Buckeyes. Ohio State had 28 players in the portal. 16 have already landed elsewhere. I think the only thing that happened yesterday that was kind of news for all of us, Quincy Porter, that happened during our show. He locked in at Notre Dame. There's a lot of rumors that Mylan Graham could go there too, but to this point, that is held off. Tegra Shabola did happen after our show. He's going to Kentucky, so that's where that stands on that side of things. In terms of guys who are not yet committed somewhere else, the name that I would say to watch out for would be Aaron Scott Jr. I think he's the one, we talked about this yesterday with Austin, he's the one that I think Ohio State would like to see a roadmap back for if potentially there is one. So I think they're probably doing that due diligence as well. And Ohio State wasn't alone. The portal was popping yesterday. You had a bunch of the unsigned guys locked in. New guys jumped in. James Seaton, who is a 5-star tackle out of high school, signed for $1 million at Colorado. Played 2 years for the Bucs. He's the big offensive tackle. I heard Tyvus this morning talking about a $2.5 million asking price for him. Okay, I guess if you have it, that would be worth it because he feels like as sure a thing at left tackle as you're going to get. And this is the world that we're living in, and this is the world that the adults in the room have chosen. It's complete free agency. The one thing I would tell you about this, and this is something I'm sure coaches have considered, I'm sure general managers, folks like the ambassador and cool Mark Pantoni are considering this as well. One of the things Ohio State has taken a great deal of pride in, certainly with the hiring of Urban and then all the way through Ryan, the one thing Ohio State has taken a great deal of pride in is they spend a great deal of time on getting to know recruits and getting to know who they are as people. And we haven't had a whole lot of off-field stuff here. Been very lucky. We don't have the problems that Georgia has off the field. We haven't had those things here. And a big reason for that, I think, is because they are vetting the heck out of kids who they would offer scholarships to. And while they are getting A-plus athletes, they also were getting, for the most part, A and A-plus human beings. Really good kids who came through here, who you knew their parents, you knew their families, you knew their support group. Not to suggest that any of these guys aren't going to be that, but you don't know them as well. How could you? These are all shotgun marriages. The Habs are trading players from one to the next to the next. A former 4 or 5-star recruit here ends up at Wisconsin. Former 5-star recruit at Alabama ends up at Ohio State. Florida State ends up at Ohio State. Ohio State ends up at Notre Dame. Like, you're just musical chairsing this talent around the country. And there's no way that you can know what makes these guys tick. There's no way that you know what their why is. I was texting with a buddy last night, and he's like, now we're loaded. We get these guys, the Desir twins from Florida State, whatever. Okay, great. But now you got to get them to row in the same direction. And you don't know what makes them tick other than, at this point, and it's not their fault, the highest dollar figure possible seems to be the common denominator. So this is a new era we're turning into here. You can talk about brotherhood and all of that stuff. It's hard to form a brotherhood in a shotgun wedding. And that's what we're going to have to witness here. And that's college football now. We got to get used to it. But it's very, very different. And when I saw these names coming in, I'm like, holy smokes, you don't know what makes these guys tick. You hope it's all positive. But the type of vetting that they used to do in terms of who you are, what makes you tick, it's impossible to do it now, Reese.
I would say, and you're absolutely right about that, but everybody's learning on the fly. And it's going to get worse when they expand the playoff and then the calendar goes for another fun spin. But the 3 defensive players yesterday, the 4 in the last 48 hours, I think means Matt Patricia's coming back. Because I wonder with those, the caliber of players that they are, with the 5 stars, the 4 stars, coming from Duke, coming from Florida State, I think that can point you in the right direction of Ohio State's defensive staff is going to stay as it was last year. And I do think those are questions they'll have to ask. And I would also applaud every portal person for going out and doing as many interviews, as many visits as possible. Try to find and figure out the best spot for you.
Sure.
Because that's what everybody else is doing.
In a short amount of time. It's a good point on you on Patricia. I think it is relatively fair to jump to that conclusion that you're getting to the point where that
jumping to conclusions.
Yeah. Feels like you're getting there.
I sure hope that's what it means. And I think this defensive staff is going to stay intact regardless, because they were here before Patricia came, and I don't think any of them are going anywhere or have plans on going anywhere. But, yeah, I hope that means Patricia stays. Bo, I'm with you. Like, I didn't watch enough Alabama football and study it, and I think T-Bone said this earlier. He's like, I watched a lot of Alabama football this year. He said, but I didn't watch it with the eye that, man, I'd love to have that guy at Ohio State. Because we just don't look at football like that. Maybe we will in a year or two after this. And you're like, man, I wish we had that guy on our team or this or that. Everybody's excited about James Smith, and we're excited because you see 5 stars.
Sure.
And I don't know how good of a player James Smith is or not. It's obviously a position of need. The one thing that made me pause a little bit on my excitement was these 2 guys were both in the same class as Caleb Downs. And we know where Caleb Downs is going. Caleb Downs is going to the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me think if these guys were really, really superstar good guys, they'd be going to the NFL right now. And I know that's not fair and every case is different and whatnot. And I'm sure both of these guys are very, very good players. And again, they fit needs. And that's, I think, the exciting thing here with the portal the past couple of days for Ohio State. You needed some defensive line help. You got that with an edge rusher and a D tackle. You needed a nickel guy. You got that with Earl Little Jr. You needed a safety to come in and do what Caleb Downs did, or as much of Caleb Downs as possible, because I don't know if anybody can do what Caleb Downs did. You got Terry Moore, who 2 years ago, and granted Caleb Downs was a freshman, but was the only safety rated higher, according to PFF, in the country over Caleb Downs. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. All of those things are, and now is the hard part. And the one thing that is, one thing that helped the last 2 times that Ohio State was in the portal is you had built-in alpha leaders who showed you the way. And they're going to have to find those guys, who that is. I mean, that should be Julian, right? That should be Jeremiah, Bo Jackson, those type of guys on the offensive side. Those are going to be your leader guys. But on defense, I mean, that triumvirate is all gone. So you need new dudes to come in and be dudes on that side and be leaders. Is that one of those young linebackers? Does Peyton Pierce elevate to that? What does that look? Riley Pettijohn? I don't know. Somebody's got to come be dudes and show that this is what the culture is. And when I look at this team right now, it's a shotgun marriage. You're throwing a bunch of ingredients in, and you got to somehow spit out culture quick, because the schedule next year is brutal in comparison to what it was this year. So you're going to get shot out of a cannon with this stuff, and they're going to have to teach a lot of things, and they do not have the backstory on some of these guys the way that they do when you have them in recruiting. You just can't. It's a very, very different world for you. All right, coming up. Lots to get to. Lots to get to on the side of the ice with the change made with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Some NFL to have some fun with. Was that the end of the road for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh? We'll get into that as well. Porty coming up in 17 minutes on the Jacket side of thing. And speaking of the Jackets, Dean Evason is out. Why it had to happen. We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Enjoy more ways to save at Kroger, like low prices in every aisle. And you can clip and save more with digital coupons in the Kroger app. Plus, you can earn fuel points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. So it's always easy to save big. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply. See site for details.
Check out this deal on fresh Tyson natural chicken. Select varieties are on sale now. Buy one, get one free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This weekend, the Ohio RV and Boat Show, brought to you in part by Ohio Credit Union, is back and bigger than ever at the Ohio Expo Center. Whether it's your first adventure or you're a seasoned outdoor enthusiast, this show has it all. One ticket gets you into all 3 buildings so you can see the latest in RVs, boats, motorcycles, ATVs, golf carts, and more. From towables to drivers, jet skis to pontoons, and more. It's all here. The Ohio RV and Boat Show at the Ohio Expo Center, January 9th through 18th. Get details and tickets at OhioRVandBoatShow.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Winters can be brutal here in the Columbus area, and if you're cold in your home with the heat running constantly, it's probably your old, inefficient windows that are the problem. The good news is that Window Nation can help you get through this season, because in the last 20 years, they've installed over 3 million energy-efficient windows nationally, and they're trusted by thousands of Columbus homeowners to keep their homes comfy and cozy year-round, while also saving them money on monthly utility bills. And right now, they're more affordable during the Window Nation Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale. It's a great time to replace all the windows in your home. Plus, you could get your windows with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. You'll be surprised by the dramatic difference new windows will make. Your home will be better protected against the weather, feel warm and dry, and you'll love the lower utility bills. The pros at Window Nation will guide you every step of the way. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 sale going on now. The sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com right now. Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics.
BMI Federal Credit Union has been voted best credit union for the past 8 years in a row. With personalized service and excellent products, BMI FCU is ready to help with all your banking needs. Visit bmifcu.org to open an account today.
New year, new you, new truck from Germain Toyota of Columbus, and the deals are built tough. Drive home the all-new 2026 Toyota Tacoma with 2.99% financing for up to 48 months. Need more muscle? The 2026 Toyota Tundra delivers with 2.99% financing for up to 72 months, or take $3,000 in customer cash. Germain Toyota has the truck and the deal you've been waiting for. Shop today at Germain Toyota of Columbus, where selection, value, and trust come standard. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows?
Oh no.
Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
They didn't have skim milk for your coffee, so I just got formaldehyde.
Oh, isn't that stuff in floor cleaner? Pizza's here. Would you like cheese on that? Or how about a Crowley?
Oh, no, that's in bug spray.
Hi there. Would you like to sample our new scent? Diethylene glycol.
Isn't that the stuff in antifreeze?
You wouldn't want to eat it, drink it, or even smell it, but that's exactly what's in your vapes. If you vape, quit. If you don't vape, don't start. For help, go to odh.ohio.gov/no vapes. A message from the Ohio Department of Health.
It's easy to think of winter as a time when not much is happening in the landscape or in the pest and disease world. However, there are a couple of services that can help your trees and shrubs during the colder months, like horticultural oil and anti-desiccant applications. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org to learn more and to find an ISA-certified arborist in your area who is trained and has the proper equipment to perform your tree work safely.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Slight chance of showers as we go into the day, otherwise increasing clouds and highs in the upper 40s with breezy winds. For tonight, mostly cloudy with stray showers overnight, and breezy winds continue with lows into the upper 30s. And then for Wednesday, we hit our high into the low 40s earlier in the day with chances of rain and snow throughout the day and very strong winds with gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, it went down yesterday afternoon. The Columbus Blue Jackets fired head coach Dean Evason, assistant coach Steve McCarthy. Evason 59, 52, and 16 in 127 games for the Jackets. McCarthy had been with the organization more than a decade as a player in the AHL and assistant coach, of course, since 21 as a coach here on the bench. But Evason is obviously the headline here. I thought he was a master. I thought it was a master class last season from him. For a guy who was paratrooped into a situation that immediately, as soon as his boots are on the ground, tragedy, and then you got to deal with it. And that the way he navigated what was one of the most emotionally charged seasons in Blue Jackets history, I think in part led to the way we viewed this season. And maybe because of the emotion that this team played with last year, it gave us a little bit of false hope about what was in play this year. And maybe our expectations were a little too high. Maybe they weren't. Bake, I know you are watching every game. You can speak to this much better than I can. But just from the standpoint of this team was out over its skis last year and responded to tragedy as well as you possibly can and delivered our expectations, which were make the outdoor game matter, and it did. And they played meaningful hockey into March, and they chased the 8, and they were in it till the end, and he got them to all row. And it wasn't just the tragedy of Johnny Gaudreau. There was multiple injuries that happened last year, and I thought it was a masterclass of coaching last year. This year, it's not been that at all. And there were some red flags that we all started to talk about a month and a half ago in regard to some of the young players, and most notably Kent Johnson, that him and Adam Fantilli too. They're the two most important, among the two most important things. Fantilli's the most important thing in terms of the youth, and you just did not see the growth that you wanted to see. out of that. And there were moments, whether it be in special teams or wherever, where they weren't on the ice, and you just go, well, what is going on? Like, this is not the way that it should be, all the while winning one and losing one over and over again. And with the break coming for the Olympics relatively soon, and obviously ownership and Don Waddell thinking that more should have been accomplished to this point, this is how you get what you get here. And I think as great as Dean was last year, this season, it was that bad. And I think when you see it starting to go like this, especially with your most important players, you got to make a move, and they did. And so I a little surprised by it, because the organization typically, like mid-season this close in, you don't see this very often. But to me, this almost felt inevitable, and it felt like something they had to do. Bake, this is your wheelhouse. Go ahead.
So I kind of started feeling for the past couple of weeks that maybe a move could come. I'm not saying I was expecting a move, but I started feeling that way. And I believe the wheels were obviously already in motion. But I was super concerned on Saturday. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. When you lose 4-0 on the Avalanche, and all I heard after the game was, man, we played really great.
Mm-hmm.
We played really great. Yeah, those guys are tough to beat. And I mean, Holden didn't let their stars score. Sure, the other guys scored 4 goals, but man, we didn't let those guys score. That's a big star, a big feather in the cap there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think the wheels were already in motion by then, because you don't fire the coach and have in the same release, hire the new coach.
Yeah.
Without those wheels having been in motion for a little while. We're going to talk to Aaron Portzline coming up next. And in his Monday gathering yesterday, he brought up the question of Dean Evason getting fired.
Yep.
And sure enough, it happened later that day. I think there's a couple concerns, and you mentioned them. Kent Johnson is a major concern.
Yeah.
And Adam Fantilli is the other. And I don't think Adam Fantilli's been bad. And I think you see a lot of signs there, but it just hasn't quite been there. And you see Leo Carlson and Connor Bedard doing what they're doing. And that's a little bit of concern. Bo, you and I remember both of us, when the opening night lineup was put out.
Yep.
I remember you and I looking at each other on these little computer screens with like, what the hell is that? What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
And it just doesn't seem like these guys have been handled. And Yegor Chinnikov, let's not forget that situation.
Right.
And he's gone over to Pittsburgh, and it's looking like I don't know how great it's working, but there's a little bit of success. And there was obviously potential there in him. And for some reason, it wasn't unlocked with this coaching staff, and it was so bad that it made him want to go somewhere else. And all of this, Steve McCarthy gets let go too, who's been with the organization for 11 years. And I think a lot of Blue Jackets fans thought it was weird that he was kept after Pascal Vincent was fired in the first place. So I don't know if that's a big shocker to anyone, but he's been here for a long time. I think the timing is interesting, but Don Waddell feels like there's still a chance for this season. And you've got to do whatever you can to get it back on track.
Yeah, I commend Don Waddell on doing it when he did it. I just don't think you'd seen that in this organization. Todd Richards, he's like 0 for his first 9, so that felt like it had to. But reading yesterday and just trying to figure out, what was maybe the last straw in all of this, where I saw that the Jackets had 5 goals put on them in 4 straight, but their shutout loss to the Avalanche was the first time in a week and a half that they hadn't allowed 5 goals. And it's like, well, you still got shut out 4-0. And so trending in the wrong directions where you were supposed to be taking the next step. Like in December, we find ourselves moving the goalposts with this team where it's like, no, you have to make the playoffs, and you have to look like a team that's together moving in the right direction. And that for this year was chasing the 8, and they're the second to worst team in the league. And that in a results-oriented business, I think meant that it was time for it. So you'll hear they're going to hold a press conference today at noon. We will have the Jake Diebler radio show, but audio throughout the day from Don and Rick. And then, of course, he's on the bench tonight as the Jackets are playing the Flames at 7.
And, Bo, let me say this. This could be the right move. Mm-hmm. And also, this could not be Dean Evason's fault. And you mentioned our expectations from last year, a team that overachieved, that improved 23 points in the standings. And a lot of people were like, here we go. We got career years from all these young guys. They're all going to do it next year, too. And as we know, progress and growth isn't linear, and that is obviously the case with some of these guys this year. And I just think our expectations were skewed. And I tried to say this from the beginning. This was a team that did not improve, really, in the offseason. They traded James Van Riemsdyk and Justin Danforth, basically, for Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood.
No, it's that fool's gold thing that we talk about, right? Like it's a little bit of fool's gold that you just think that whatever you did the previous year as a young player, you're just going to be exponentially better the next. And you just, well, why wouldn't that be the case? Why wouldn't Adam Fantilli be a 40-goal scorer this year? Why not? I mean, he's on that trajectory. Where's that next step? And so that's the thing. But you're right. There wasn't that improvement. And I think from Don Waddell's perspective and ownership perspective, I think the reason you do this now is you have to see you've got the deadline, you got the break, you've got the deadline, and then you've got another critical. I mean, this has to start going at some point, or you're going to get backwards. You're going to get to the point where, like, Werenski starts to age before these guys catch up. Like, you got to go. It's time now. It's time to go. And so I think he's got to see, will a change in voice ignite some of these guys in a way? How can we unlock some of even what we saw from last year? So I think that's why that move has to be made. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see it even at the beginning of the year. And we had Jody on, and we have Jody on all the time. I'm very thankful for it. I love all the conversations. And I understand he's an employee and he loves them, and he played there a long time. But I remember we were doing that, and he said, be top 2 in the Metro. And I was like, boy, I don't see that.
Sounds good.
But we didn't see 8th in the Metro either, though, which is where they are. Dead last. No, not 8th in the Metro. I thought this was chase the 8 best case scenario. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm talking about in the Metro. They're dead last. Dead last? Of 8 teams, they're dead last.
No, we did not see dead last. But I thought it was more likely that they'd be dead last in the Metro than they would be winning the Metro. I thought, to me, that seemed more like a chance. Because one thing that you learn in hockey, it takes years. Look at Detroit. Look where Detroit is now. Think of all the pieces that had to be in place. Think about the hiring of Steve Yzerman. Think about them missing on lottery over and over and over again, but they just stuck to it. And now look where Detroit is. Make a great coaching hire, and look where they're at. And that's the thing down here that's tough is build it once right. Porty and I talk about that all the time. For the last 20 years, he and I have talked about that. Build it right once. And that's where we thought we were on the precipice of with all of this, and this does feel like a step back. Can they get back to a step forward? That's the issue at hand. Real quick, Big.
There were a couple things that were concerning to me yesterday, and one of them was what you just said. The first guy, and it sounded like your first choice when you hired Dean Evason, was Todd McClellan. He's in Detroit now, and he's doing pretty good. And another guy that was available, and there were issues, and a lot of the fans might have given backlash, but Joel Quenneville was available, and he's in Anaheim now. And he's doing a damn good job with that team, a team with a lot of youngsters. The other thing, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Greg Wyshynski talking about Rick Bowness coming in, and this guy's coached more games than anyone else in NHL history. He said, one thing about Rick Bowness is he will demand accountability, something that was lacking in Columbus. That's concerning.
That is. Yeah, because that's not Dean's reputation either. We'll get the real truth from Aaron Portzline in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Big savings right now with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Boy, it's the perfect time to upgrade your ride. You can lease a new Honda for as low as $199 a month, or definitely take advantage of rates as low as 0% financing on select models. Rich will even give you an additional $1,000 for your trade, even if you don't buy a Honda today. They have more than 400 new Hondas in stock, and the deals are the best around. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at germainhondaofdublin.com.
Come into your local AAA Tire and Auto Service and save up to $30 on auto repair with their AAA Triple Play. And on the plus side, AAA members save more. Offer valid through January 31st. See store for details.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to see the world differently, moves us to action. And we believe that today, wonder is more essential than ever. Wow. That's why we're supporting a new generation of explorers to ask big questions, make breakthroughs, and bring the future closer. Wonder awaits. Will you join us? Visit natgeo.org/wonder.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday. The Blue Jackets make a change on the coaching side of things, and when you want to know what's going on with the Blue Jackets, there's only one man to talk to. He's our good buddy Aaron Portzline, covers the Jackets at an expert level at The Athletic, and he joins us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Why this move? Why now, Porty?
Oh, what are we doing here? Holy smoke. Feels like we've had this conversation about 5 times in the last 5 years because we have, you know? This is 5th coach since John Tortorella. 5th coach.
Jeez.
2021.
Crazy.
Listen, I think the ball started rolling on this with the Pittsburgh loss a week ago Sunday. Up 4-1, lose 5-4 in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I think something like this, especially to have a coach in place, takes time to put together. And you started to hear things and get feels on this road trip that maybe they were thinking. I was surprised it came down yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to wait for the 3-week Olympic break. That's just such a gap in the season to make something like a move like this. But I think they started to do the math and realize, like, there's 7 games left in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time to wait for 12 or 13 more. So they made the move when they made it, and Rick Bowness is back behind a bench again.
Yeah, Porty, I just said this in the previous segment. I thought Dean was – I thought it was a masterclass last year with everything that was going on with that with the operation, with the tragedy and all of it. I thought it was just a masterclass. But I also think maybe it gave everybody a little bit of false hope in terms of what this roster was. So I wasn't one of those folks who thought that this would be a top of the Metro team. I thought this was a Chase the 8 team, is kind of, and they fell short of that. To be very fair, they fell very short of that. I started to take notice with who was in the lineup on special teams. I started to take notice with, you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago, Kent Johnson, 8 minutes of ice time. Like, what is it? Fantilli not on in big moments. Where was the disconnect with the young players?
It's a great question, and it requires obviously speculation and not straight on knowledge. But you look at the situation here, you look at the coaching staff, and Dean Evason was, picture Derek Dorsett, right? That's the kind of player he was.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Bowl, you know who Jared Bowl was.
Yep.
Scott Ford was Jared Bowl in the minors, right? So I don't know that there is a skilled guy on the staff. I don't know that there's a guy, well, there isn't a guy on the staff who has scored a lot of goals, had a lot of points, and can talk to a highly skilled player about, here's your way out of this, right? The answer to everything here is work harder. And obviously that's a huge part of hockey. But I think, and Chinnikov's gone. There's another player, right? Fantilli has plateaued. Can't have that, right? Look at what Celebrini, Bedard, look at what these guys are doing across the league. They're lighting it up. Is this all on Dean Evason? I don't think so. But you can't have it, and you got to make a move here. I think that's some of the thinking too, that they need somebody on staff that can bring life to the young players, because listen, Monahan's a great player, Boone's a great player. It's these young guys that are going to drive it.
Yeah, they certainly are. And so the timing of it, because you're right. You got this 3-week break, you got the Olympic break, you got all of it. I'm hypothesizing because that's all you can do in these circumstances until, Don Waddell talks here in 2.5 hours. Of course, you'll be all over that. But my hunch was I got to know if we make this change, can I ignite these guys? And then can we go on a little run where I can make a run at this thing? Because getting into, just chase it, play relevant games in March. I mean, I think that's my hunch on what Don's thinking. That has to be right. Like, this will let me know the next couple of weeks if we can go on a little bit of run, if we can chase something here.
Yeah. This is a short-term go for it fix, right? I mean, Waddell's 67. He doesn't want to wait around. He doesn't want to give this 3-4 year patience window that Columbus always seems to be in. Rick Bowness is 70. He turns 71 later this month. Oh, it's like they're taking the phrase senior management literally around here, this is the next 3 months. Go. See what you got. I suspect they'll be looking for a coach next summer, although not knowing the dynamics, I know that he is signed up for the rest of this year, Bonus is. Maybe they revisit it after the season and see where things go, but they could very well be in a coaching search. Or maybe they've got a guy in mind next summer. But, this is win now. 7 of the next 8 at home, beginning tonight against Calgary. It can't wait any longer. They've got to win. They got 38 games left, I believe. They got to win 24 of them, right?
Yeah.
There's no time to wait for the turnaround.
What can you tell us about Bonus in terms of just what you know about him, covering the league as long as you have, in terms of his style? What'll he bring? Why do they think he's the answer?
Well, so his nickname is Bones. Everybody calls him Bones, which is interesting because there's really he's a great guy to deal with. You're going to love him if you have him on the station, which I know you will. Great guy to deal with. Loves talking hockey, but there's no bones about it. There's no BS there.
Yeah.
This is how you play or you don't play. Now, that was Evason's reputation as well. I don't know where it went sideways. I don't know where the disconnect with some of the young players especially happened. But I think players enjoy playing for Rick Bowness. I think he is a motivator, but I also think he's an X's and O's guy. And when you've got a team, they've lost 27 games total, regulation and overtime shootout. 9 of them, they've had the lead in the third period. You have to present a different landscape to the players. You have to give them a tangible reason why this is going to be different going forward. And it's really interesting to me that they've got Pittsburgh, who's done it to them 3 times this year, come back from 2 goal deficits. They've got Pittsburgh this weekend. So show them the way, Rick Bowness.
From just a logistical standpoint, and we made 5 coaching changes. Is the last one that was in season like this Richards, Porty? I'm just off the top of my head. Is that the last one that was in?
Good question.
See the last one in the middle of it, I think.
You want to consider Babcock. He never coached a game, but that was
right.
God, right before training camps, right?
Yeah, I think it's Todd. If what can Rick do? It's like he's paratrooping into Normandy. Like he's jumping in the middle of this thing and it's chaos everywhere. Yeah. How can you do this right now? Like this goes to your point of if you wait and you do then you get the 3 weeks with the break, you can kind of reset. But this is just jumping into chaos, a moving treadmill, if you will. How does he even go about his business logistically?
I remember talking to Ken Hitchcock, who was hired basically Thanksgiving Day. I remember traveling Thanksgiving Day to Philadelphia for his debut, Blue Jackets and Flyers, and him saying, easiest speech you'll ever give, because you've got a room full of players who are dialed in. What are we doing, Coach? What's this going to look like? Who are you? Right? What does our life look like now? I think we've seen it many times. I mean, across this league, we've seen it many times that a new coach comes in, same roster, and things immediately go upward, right? Always makes the previous coach look bad, but often there is a bump, and that's what they're looking for. Bonus, look, the guy, I think the only guy who's coached that I can think of on this team is maybe Monahan, but there's not a kid in that room that doesn't know who Rick Bowness is, especially the Canadians. He will have their full attention. And I will imagine they'll play at considerable pace tonight against Calgary.
Porty, I'll get you out of here on this one, and my hunch is you'll have this conversation, but if not you, somebody else will. What's the one question to Dean that you'd like answered now that this is all in the rear view?
Yeah, I mean, so you know how this business works. A lot of times what makes it to the outside is just a portion of what's going on in the room or what they talk about in the room. I wonder what he really thinks was behind all of the third period collapses and what were his plans to change it. What was he trying? What were the buttons that were being pushed and the strings that were being pulled, and how much pushback was there from within? Like, it didn't sound like there were a lot of answers, but again, you don't know what is going on behind the scenes. They don't obviously tell us everything.
You're the best, buddy. Really appreciate you when these moments happen. Well, I like talking to you all the time, but especially in these moments. Appreciate you, pal, as always.
Anytime, my man. You know that. Thanks.
All right, there he goes. The great Aaron Portzline covers the Athletic. For the Athletic, covers the Columbus Blue Jackets and the NHL. Get some reaction to that from you guys. We'll also go around the sports world last night. CJ Stroud was bad. It did not matter. Pittsburgh was worse. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, it's Anthony, and of all the things you think about for a new year, the one thing that should be right at the top of your list is comfort and foot pain relief. I've told you my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store have made a massive difference in my life every day. Every time I leave the house, I feel supported, aligned, and I know my body is going to feel better. Not just my feet. My knees feel better. And of course, my lower back. They are so much different than just the over-the-counter insoles. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to balance and strengthen my feet. And I always feel like my feet are being guided into their ideal position. They're strong, supportive, and flexible. I will never wear a pair of shoes without them. When you go to the Good Feet store, you'll get a comprehensive foot analysis by their trained specialist. You'll get a digital foot scan that helps design your personal arch support system and, of course, any follow-up support you need. They have more than 3 decades of helping customers. Make an appointment right now online at goodfeet.com. Good feet, good life.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill. At Billiards Plus, the grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Hey everybody, it's Berm here. I started Awaken 180 a little before the new year, and I'm already down 20 pounds. Just 3 weeks. You could still hit that by the end of January with results like mine. Don't wait another week. Awaken180weightloss.com.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here
here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow. Saturday, August 1st at Paycor Stadium with special guests Lainey Wilson and Alan Stone. You're in with Verizon Access. Pre-sale tickets beginning Tuesday 10 a.m. before the public on sale Friday 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Your mornings are jam-packed. So if you're going to add anything, make it your favorite bite from Tim Hortons. Buy any size beverage and add a daily baked donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. It's the best way to add more to your morning. The 1, 2, 3 menu, only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra. Exclusions and terms apply at timhortons.com/offer-terms.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Weston Air Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and it's your Uncle Bo here. When it comes to buying a ring, don't guess. Go to the best. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Seller, and quite honestly, guys, I have for years. Whether you're ready to pop the question or walk down the aisle, there's only one true jeweler for a moment this big. For nearly 80 years, Diamond Seller's been helping guys get it right. Luxury designer collections, expert in-house designers who can build a ring that's strong, timeless, and here's the best part, one of a kind. And man to man, they make it easy. No pressure, no confusion, just great advice and the right ring. This is about quality, trust, and getting it done right the first time so you never have to do it again. Visit Diamond Seller at Sawmill Road, Easton Townsend, or online anytime at diamondseller.com. You guys both heard from Porty there. Anything jump out in terms of the way that this all went down, the timing?
No, if anything, it kind of galvanized the idea that they weren't going to wait to the Olympic break. And I'm thrilled that they didn't. If they thought a change needed to happen and they wanted to make the second half of the season serious, they wanted to be serious people the second half of the year, then I'm glad they didn't wait.
I thought it was interesting that Porty said, and Porty doesn't know this, he was just his kind of feeling, that he thought the Pittsburgh game was the one that started the ball rolling on this. I've seen that Pittsburgh game script 1,000 times against that team.
There have been two exact Pittsburgh games at Nationwide Arena this season.
But that's not this season, Reese. That goes back for forever. And I remember after that game in the dressing room, I think it was Boone, asking Boone, is there something with that team, with that jersey across the way? And, of course, he said, no, it doesn't matter who it is. We got to play the same way. But it's all the time against that team where they get up 2 or 3 goals and then Malkin and Crosby kick it into another gear and they end up winning the game late. I also thought it was interesting. He said you started hearing whispers about it on this trip, and I wonder if that had anything to do with everyone praising how they played against Colorado.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think the problem they have with Pittsburgh is they have the guy that wears number 87. I mean, that's probably the root of the problem.
And 71 and 58.
71's good. So they get a lot of them, like best players help.
So I think you've got 8 of 12 at home before that Olympic break. So if you can do the dismissed coach bump and you can have that, you can have it in front of your home fans and have them feeling good about going into that break. And maybe this is all going to be based off of hope, because I know it's not a great plan, but right now as Jackets fans, kind of all we have.
All I care about, I'm sorry, Reese, I thought you were done.
Well, I was going to say that's what you have coming out of the Olympic break.
All I care about is Fantilli and Johnson getting a bump. That's it. I don't care about chasing the 8. I don't. I just want to see young guys that look like they were on a track.
More so Johnson.
Fantilli for superstardom, which obviously, as Porty said, there's been a plateau there. And then Johnson for perennial all-star. I mean, that's all I want to see. I don't 8, I don't care. Like, best players, guys who are drafted high, go be dudes, get unlocked. That's to me got to be Bonus's job.
And Bo, I do think there's another level with Fantilli. And I think we see signs of it all the time. And, man, I think it's close. And it's just like there's the proverbial glass ceiling he keeps hitting. And I swear at some point it's going to break through. Yeah. And he's going to just take off. Maybe, and we saw it last year with him. It was close, and then boom, the second half of the season, he went crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder a lot if we saw the very best of Kent Johnson last year. And I know that there are some NHL scouts that do not like him at all and think there is a lot of, I don't know what the right word, just a lot of softness in his game. And there's a lot of NHL scouts I've heard that do not like him and do not think he's going to amount to anything. But we saw at least a 55-point season from him last year. If you can get that, that's huge for this team.
Yeah. Porty brought up something there that's pretty interesting. A lot of the guys who end up in scouting, who end up on benches, are grinders. I mean, that's just kind of the nature of it. And their answer to everything is work harder, like all of that stuff. Like, you got to nurture some talent a little bit along the way as well. So we'll see what comes of all of this.
I mean, and Bowness is 70. He's come out of retirement for this.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine he's in the same spot this time next year.
No, I wouldn't think so. Yeah, no. I mean, they got some massive. This is a massive step back, for sure. And it's even the Chinnikov thing, like all of that. Like it's just all. It's not good. And it's one of those things where, I mean, you feel like you're just perpetually here, unfortunately, with them. Like you're just kind of always in this 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps back, 1 step forward. You're just middling. And it's been this way for kind of the whole operation.
I wonder, because the Cleveland Monsters in the last month have just taken off. And they've been really good. And they went from like the bottom of the standings to second place.
Sure.
And we know that the Jackets have been high on Trent Vogelhuber for a while. A local kid was from Dublin, played hockey at St. Charles, went to Miami of Ohio. And he's been in the Blue Jackets draft pick. Injuries cut his career short, and he got into coaching immediately in Cleveland. I wonder if Bonus is maybe a bridge to him, and they think Vogelhuber can really be the next guy, and he's gotten the younger guys in Cleveland to play well, and I just wonder if they think, let's Bonus get this season on track, let's make this push for the playoffs if we can, and maybe Trent Vogelhuber's the guy moving forward. I don't know, that's just me speculating, but...
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think we just, to me, feel like we're still a long ways away from being like where Detroit is now. That's what it just seems like. And it shouldn't be, because you were ahead of them in the build game for a long time. You were always a step or two ahead of them, and now it's swapped. They brought in Stevie Y, and again, they got no luck in the lottery. None. A lot of times they were the worst team. They never picked one. They didn't have that, but now they're in a position where they're humming, and so. Yeah, they got to get that sorted out. And I think about this all the time, like just from the city's perspective. We talk about like Ohio State basketball, and we talk about the Blue Jackets and all of the things that take the attention when Ohio State football isn't there. And, you think about the Crew in that regard too. Can you imagine if the Columbus Blue Jackets ever had the Crew's success?
No. It'd be wild.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever had like the success that the Crew, the expectation the Crew have on a weekend, year in, year out basis, win MLS Cup, contend for it, get the tape, all of that stuff. Like, will we ever get to see that? Will the city ever get that? We've seen it with Buckeye basketball. I know what it's like to have the number 1 team in the country and go to the Final Four, and I know what happens at St. John. Wishful thinking.
Then too.
They did it then too. I mean,
Jimmy Jackson, that was a hell of a run.
It's a great run. A lot of fun in the Jimmy J. Grays. Yeah. So that's the thing this is the one operation around here that we've never seen it at that level, at the best. Of the things we talk about the most, it's the one we haven't seen. Everything else that we talk about, we've seen it at the best if you were of a certain age. And that extends to Guardians, Indians, Reds, Cavs, Bengals, Browns. If you're of a certain age, you certainly remember Kozar. You remember those things. Like, that hasn't happened. We have never had. There was a time, even if you want to do the Browns conversation, there was a time going into Baker's second year where the Browns, for some part of that offseason, were the number one betting choice. That's actually going into Baker's third year. They were the number one betting choice to get to the Super Bowl. So you had real expectations. We have never walked into a Blue Jackets season saying, go win the Cup. Never. It's been chase the 8 for 25 years. That's a tough way to build a fan base, and yet the fan base is here, and they're dying for it. They're salivating for it. Win a little bit and see what happens. We'll hit the real truth up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Baths R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued, Baths R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement, or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate, or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
It's Timmy Hall and AI Common Man. Happy to ring in another year with our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Mikey, do you want to be a millionaire? Hollywood is the place to do it.
From now until March 25th, you have the chance to win $1 million instantly. And here's something Mikey likey. All new brunch items at the Sportsbook Restaurant and Bar, like Biscoff stuffed French toast, country Benedict, or roast beef hash skillet. Yummy.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
No one plans to get into an accident, but when it happens, we strive in making life easier for you. This is Justin Hinderer. The Hinderer Motor Company Collision Center is ICAR certified and certified by many manufacturers to provide the best quality repair available. All of our repairs come with a lifetime warranty. We have our own 24/7 towing service, so you never have to wait. Plus, we offer on-site rental cars for every lifestyle. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad, and I feel very proud to be his son.
I was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Start the year off moving, not hurting. With joint pain, if it's holding you back, listen up. There's a way to get relief without surgery, no downtime, and without putting your life on pause. Dr. Tesner and the other pros Right here at QC Kinetics in Columbus, Ohio, they can deliver regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair areas that are causing you the pain. Those achy hips, knees, shoulders, back, wherever it hurts. And the results, 97% of Cleveland patients report satisfaction with the results. So instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments, they happen right in office and you go about your day. I should know. I've had them. My dad has had them. They feel good and they can deliver life-changing results. Imagine moving around better, being stronger, planning the year you actually want. Do not wait. January is supposed to be a clean slate, so make it yours. So go call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
We got a higher home appraisal after we put away our African art and family photos.
Has this happened to you because of race or national origin? Contact HUD at hud.gov/fair housing. A message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets dismissed Dean Evason on Monday afternoon and announced the hiring of veteran NHL coach Rick Bowness as his replacement. He'll join general manager Don Waddell for a press conference today at noon. The 70-year-old Bowness was on the ice this morning with his new team. CBJ are in action tonight hosting the Calgary Flames at 7. You can hear it on the Fan with coverage at 6:30. In the NFL last night, the wild card round wrapped up in Pittsburgh with the Texans knocking out the Steelers 30-6. Houston scored 23 straight in the fourth quarter. Texans head to New England to battle the Patriots Sunday at 3 in the divisional round. In college basketball, Ohio State will host UCLA Saturday at 1. Buckeyes are dealing with injuries to Brandon Knoll and Christoph Tilley. Hear more from OSU's head coach today at noon on the Jake Diebler Radio Show. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. BMI Federal Credit Union has been voted Best Credit Union 8 years in a row by CBUS Top Picks. For details, visit bmifcu.org.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. Little Tuesdays with Tiberi coming up in 28 minutes from now. Between now and then, time to hit the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present. Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years.
Diamond Seller double tap on that one.
That's right, yeah.
We'll start with some NFL discussion here. The Houston Texans are done in the divisional round. Is that the real truth?
No. And we'll talk about that a little bit at greater length coming up at 11:20 in regard to kind of everything that happened last night in Pittsburgh. No, I don't think they are. I think they went to, I mean, Pittsburgh's bad, but they went to Pittsburgh. You got all the turnovers in the fourth quarter, won, survived and advanced 30-6, and C.J. Stroud was terrible. I mean, I love him. Some of the misses that he had last night, a couple of the turnovers last night, he looked like he was seeing ghosts. He missed a throw to Nico Collins in the second quarter of that game that if he completes it, Nico Collins is still running. And he just airmailed it. He's wide open. He just airmailed it. So their defense is that good. They have enough playmakers, and there's enough good in CJ's backlog that you know what it's capable of. They play, what, New England?
Yep, Patriots Saturday, Sunday at 3.
Yeah, it's probably is, but I don't think they're not going. I think you're going to see a big time fight out of them in Foxborough on Sunday, big time. And I would not be shocked if they sprung the upset. I think their defense is that good.
Yeah, when you have that defense, you're really not out of any game. So there's a chance. But I think New England showed us the other night they've got a really good defense too. And I think the X factor is Drake May and Drake May's legs, because Aaron Rodgers last night did not have the mobility when Houston was cranking up that pressure and really getting to him in the second half. He didn't have the mobility to get away from it. Drake May will have the ability to get away from it and make some plays, and I think that'll be the difference. So the Texans, could I see them pulling the upset? Yeah, I could. They're hot, and that defense is really good. But I do think it's the real truth that New England wins and moves on.
Both Matt LaFleur and Mike Tomlin will coach their current NFL teams in 2026. Is that the real truth?
Well, we'll have a longer discussion on Tomlin. LaFleur will. I think sanity is going to prevail in Green Bay. One thing I hadn't considered, just because when I think of the Green Bay Packers, I just think of like model franchise, all the success in the world. That operation has had some heartbreak in the last 25 years. Absolute heartbreak. Some crazy playoff losses. If you consider if you go all the way back to the end of Favre through Rodgers and now with Jordan Love, they've had some just brutal playoff losses, but they're always good. He's been really good there. Some of it's on him, but make kicks too. To me, I just think they'll stay the course. I think my hunch is Pittsburgh will too, unless Tomlin wants to leave on his own. And maybe the reason that he may want to do that is because this is exhausting to do this every year with a new Band-Aid at quarterback. Like, without truly getting a quarterback, you're just stuck. And it's almost like their culture and drafting keep them winning every year, so they don't ever get to pick the quarterback they want, so they're kind of always in this nowheresville. So there's no real path for them unless they kind of go get that quarterback, which you just can't get. So I could see him moving on his own, even, and just being like, it's been a good run. I'll see you on down the road, and he'll be unemployed for about 6 seconds if that's the case.
It seems unfathomable to me that we live in a world where John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin both move on from the Ravens and the Steelers in the same year, especially being a Browns fan and seeing all the dysfunction that my team and my organization has had since they returned in 1999. And these two guys and those two franchises have been so good for so long. And the Ravens, there's been some ups and downs, right? You've won a Super Bowl, but there's been years you haven't made the playoffs. You have made the playoffs. You were maybe the best team in football, but didn't win. The Steelers have just been a steady ship. And unfortunately for them, since 2016, that's been a steady ship of not winning a playoff game. But they've been in the playoffs, and they're over 500 every year. And as a Browns fan, I would kill for that, I feel like. But it's the expectations, and maybe it is time for Tomlin to move on. I just think that would be crazy from them. If I was them, I would put all my eggs in finding a quarterback this year. I don't know if that's Malik Willis. I don't know if that's Mac Jones. I don't know if either of those are the guy. I don't know how you get it. But that seems to be the problem in Pittsburgh to me, is they haven't had a quarterback since Ben left. I don't think this is the real truth, though, because as you talked about, it sure seems like LaFleur is staying in Green Bay.
Yeah,
they're working on that extension, so.
Ohio State football will start the season ranked in the preseason AP top 5. Is that the real truth?
So the reason I want to talk about this is we had Bill Bender on here yesterday, and he was talking about, he went to his Sporting News editors and he said, way too early top 25, and he was starting to work on it. And I thought to myself, and I love a list.
Hell yeah.
I love a ranking. Yeah, of course. And I'm thinking to myself, how would I even begin to do that? How would you even begin to do a way too early top 25? We still have 3 days left in the portal. I'm guessing there's still thousands of players in the portal. It's funny, if you go on, and we'll do kind of a Buckeye roster deep dive here in about 10 minutes. If you go to our lads, who does a great job of like updating. Remember, I had you guys go there yesterday, and they had still had last year's roster in it. If you pull it up right now, it's all blanks. Because who knows? Who knows? Who knows who's the 2 deep on the offensive line? Who knows? Nobody knows. So I think this is the real truth, that Ohio State will start the season ranked in the top 5 in the country. I think it will be largely because of Julian and Jeremiah and Bo and the returning starters who are coming back. And juxtaposed to the rest of the country, Ohio State's in a really good spot in terms of returning players. And anytime you have a returning quarterback, you're going to start high. As Penn State and Clemson. Doesn't mean you're going to end high, but it means you're going to start high. So I do think that they will start in the top 5 of the country. But I just think the process of putting together that top 25, and I think whenever that is done, the difference between number 1 and number 15 has never been smaller. That's kind of the big lesson that we're learning from the portal era is that parity is here in college football.
So I thought this was the real truth all along because you're Ohio State and you're always going to have good players and you have Julian Say and Jeremiah Smith and Bo Jackson coming back. And I don't know of another team that has that coming back, quite frankly. So I always thought this was the real truth, but especially after yesterday, I absolutely believe this is the real truth because they plugged some major holes on the D-line. They plugged major holes in the secondary. There are still holes at cornerback. You need some depth guys there, but they really helped solidify the safety spot and the nickel spot with Terry Moore and Earl Little Jr., and those two D linemen. So I actually don't see any way Ohio State isn't in the top 5 to start the season.
Who do you think's won right now?
Texas.
Again?
Yeah, but I was looking at something
They
where...
lost a ton of guys, too.
They've also signed a ton of guys.
They did, but if you look on 24/7 right now, the combined recruiting and transfer portal rankings, they're number 1, Ohio State's number 2 after yesterday.
So it'll be 1v2 week 2?
Why not? Let's do it. We got robbed of it this year.
We did that
At
in the Real
night?
Truth a couple weeks ago. Well, it'll be at night. Yeah, they're not screwing around.
Should Ohio State say no just to spite them? I mean, I don't think Ohio State has this kind of say. Texas did. Yeah.
Can we work on this now? Show trip to Austin?
Yeah, we need to talk to our friends at Travel Partners and put that together. That would be one I would do. You guys know I don't like to leave my house. I would do it for that. I would go on the road to Austin. I would do that.
Bo, I don't want to speak for you, but I'll speak for me and Reese because I don't know why I would speak for Reese, but we'd even do Fan Sports Saturday there. Why not?
And Sunday. Why not?
It's
and the Monday show. Like
it's one that
a week.
Just stayed in Austin for a week.
Yeah.
Hey guys, September's nice around here. We, you know,
I get it.
If the game was being played,
get a couple sponsors for a week.
We're staying a week in Austin. That might.
I think Kent
I've never
State's
been
the opponent after, so let's just do the Kent State preview show from Austin.
I've never been in Austin. I've never been to Austin. It's a hole in the resume. It's a place that when I was young in this and I was trying to find, good sized markets where I could apply my trade. Columbus was on that list and Austin was on that list. And those places were at the top of the list even before I met my wife from the standpoint of I wanted to be in a big market and I wanted to talk college football and cover college football. And those two have it. But I've not been to Austin. That would be one that would be my pick of to see Ohio State play. That would be a place that it would be on a very short list of places I'd like to see. So, that's going to be a fascinating how this all breaks down. I look forward to Bill trying to do that with a top 25. I don't know how you even begin. Speaking of that Buckeye roster, where are the holes that still need plugged? We will get to that, take a look at that depth chart and just some of the things that probably need to be buoyed here throughout the rest of the week. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Wake up with The Fan. Eat lunch with The Fan. Go to bed with The Fan. Dream about The Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. One of the great annoyances in life, at least for me, is the check engine light, right? You get in your car, you see the check engine light, and you go, I got to take care of that. I don't know what it is. So you let it sit there forever. It bugs you, and eventually a bigger problem happens. Well, every day in your house, your check engine light might be on, but it's not your engine. It's your windows. Because you sit down on your couch, you feel the cold, drafty air coming in through your windows, and you go, I got to do something about these windows. But just like the check engine light, I'm afraid of how much it's going to cost, and I don't know where to go. I can't help you with your check engine light, but I can help you with your windows. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is going on now. Stop wasting money by letting the warm air in your house escape through your cold, drafty windows. You're spending more on your heating bills when you don't have to. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is the perfect time to address this problem. Plus, 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. That could be yours as well. Schedule an estimate today. WindowNation.com.
Hey, everybody. It's Berm here. I started Awaken 180 a little before the new year, and I'm already down 20 pounds. Just 3 weeks. You could still hit that by the end of January with results like mine. Don't wait another week. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
You got this. Breathe. You got this. You got this.
In the moments that truly matter, what do? Rise to the occasion. Ohio Health. It's time.
Back in the day, if you wanted to listen to the Fan, you turned on the radio, and that was the end of the story. But now, oh baby, stream us live on the Fan app, TuneIn app, iHeart app, we're everywhere. The Fan, Ohio's streaming destination.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Slight chance of showers as we go into the day, otherwise increasing clouds and highs in the upper 40s with breezy winds. For tonight, mostly cloudy with stray showers overnight, and breezy winds continue with lows into the upper 30s. And then for Wednesday, we hit our high into the low 40s earlier in the day with chances of rain and snow throughout the day and very strong winds with gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy. Moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. We're proudly brought to you and sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for nearly 80 years. All right. Real quick, before we get into where this Buckeye roster is right now, did you guys see all the dialogue around the praise that the reporter gave? I got to make sure. Did you put this in thing or not a thing?
No, but you're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars reporter after their wild card loss?
So if you missed it, Liam Cohen, pretty despondent after a loss to in the playoff round to Buffalo, and the press conference has a certain tone to it, and then a reporter encourages him to keep his head held high, that you did a great job, and be proud, and you're back, and Duval, and all of that. And there's been some who have taken a great deal of umbrage with that, and I'm old enough to understand why. Because there was a time where the credentialed media, and it's always been less so here. Columbus has always been a company town in terms of most of the people who have covered Ohio State root for Ohio State. It's just what it, I don't, it's weird. It's different. It's not anything else in terms of other places that I've been, but most people here that cover Ohio State root for them. And it's a company town, kind of always has been. But one of the things that I remember, and certainly in the professional sports world, and for the most part was in the South, it was this way too. Most of the people who covered the teams were old school kind of objective people. and there was no rooting interest. You didn't refer to a team as we or us, and you had no really rooting interest, and you would hold people's feet to the fire. And certainly in pro towns, there's a lot of that still. But even in pro towns, it's skewed a lot because what's happened as the media has changed, traditional media in the old school sense of it, newspapers, television, they've all shrunk. In some instances, they're extinct. And in place has been fan sites and stuff like that. And I'm old enough to remember. I remember Jason Priestis was 11 Warriors asking me to write a letter to Jerry Emig to validate them covering Ohio State because they viewed 11 Warriors as a fan blog. Like, we don't credential fans. And 11 Warriors obviously did everything, and they've crushed it. And their reporters are excellent. Dan does a great job. A lot of their reporters do a great job. But in those days, it was a fan site, and it was like they needed validation. Well, now that's kind of common. That there are a lot of fans who go to press conferences. There are a lot of fans who ask questions of media, and of athletes and coaches and all of that. And so I think all of that's blurred. I had no issue with it whatsoever because I think that's just how the media has changed in the last decade plus. It used to be very, very different. Now this is the new norm. It didn't bug me at all. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah, so Lynn Jones is the reporter who's been writing for the Jacksonville Free Press, and I imagine that she's been doing that at that position for almost as long as the Jaguars have been a franchise. And if she has been covering that team and has developed a personal relationship with Lee and Cohen, yeah, that's probably a fine thing to do. She didn't lead off the press conference with it. It was a couple questions in. It didn't hijack the press conference. I mean, I think the questions after it were about what they want to take from the season and what they plan on doing next season. And it's like, so who really gets hurt doing this? But I also understand where you're like, maybe not the time and the place. You could have pulled him aside and had that message for him privately.
That's true.
Totally fine. So the opinions are whatever. You should just at least watch the video before offering the opinion and stop having opinions on people having those opinions. Like Pat McAfee telling like sports journalists they hate sports yesterday was a weird tangent to go off on.
I didn't love it just because, like you said, Reese, I don't think it was the time or the place. I think it was if she wanted to convey that message to him, she could have got that message to him another way, I would guess, or at another time. So I personally didn't love it. I didn't hate it either, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I remember the great Larry Larson hearing stories about him. He was the only one that could cheer in the press box because he just didn't care at Blue Jackets games because he was just going to do it and nobody was going to stop him. But I do think this leads to a little more of an issue, and we can have this conversation some other time, where I don't like the fans so much, and I'm a fan of the Blue Jackets, and I'm in the press conference, but I try to take that away as much as possible, and I know there's a ton of Ohio State fans on the Ohio State beat, and I think sometimes it's hard to ask those tough questions. Now, there's a lot of great pros that would do it anyway, but I do think this comes to an issue with sports teams and college teams. They've kind of tried to crack down on those questions a little bit and get rid of those questions some, and that's a whole nother issue that I don't like at all.
You're talking about like and I haven't seen it happen here because Ohio State wins so much, so I think you don't see it as much here. But what you're talking about is like PR gatekeepers.
Yeah, they're like you can't ask that. Or even sometimes head coaches I've heard of that would go and say stuff that, hey, that's probably not really nice to us. Or
it's a totally, and it's, look, I guess the biggest change for me is breaking into the business. There were people who covered teams and they reported on the teams, and there were columnists and there were opinion makers and there were sports talk hosts and there were guys on television and all of those things. And you were all there. I think it's all now just content. I think it's all content. I mean, just think about professional teams. Every professional team that we talk about has an in-house reporter. An in-house reporter. What does that even mean? Like, you're not a reporter, you're you're PR. That's not reporter. You're a hype man for the organization. And that's fine. It's all changed so dramatically, and I think those lines are just largely gone in terms of it. I think there's still some of it that's out there in terms of, and that's the thing that's a little difficult. And I think I don't think any of it's that big of a deal, but I think that's also what we've seen is we've seen those lines being completely blurred or gone, and everybody seems to still be okay with it. Like if you listen to a Ryan Day press conference, and we carry him all fall, you'll get that mix of clearly folks who are rooting for the Buckeyes, but he also gets his feet held to the fire. I mean, that happens. He gets his feet held to the fire. Urban did, Tress did, all those guys did. If you listen to those press conferences, I think that, the mix of, do the Blue Jackets. I mean, like, Porty holds feet to the fire, but then at the same time, you'll have in-house reporters who are asking questions too, and everyone's got a rooting interest. It feels like it all works out okay. I don't think that it's been any sort of a big issue. It's just a change from how it used to be.
And you mentioned Porty, and I'm not saying this just because, we have him on this show and I've gotten to know him a little bit, but he will ask tough questions in a press conference for sure. Porty is one guy that does ask some difficult questions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that and there's people who do that on the Buckeye beat too. There's folks who do those things. So I didn't think it was too big of a deal, and I get her side of it. And it seemed like it meant a lot to Liam Cohen that she said what she said. So nothing that I'm going to make too big of a mountain out of in this instance. Real quickly on the Buckeye depth, we got a couple of days here to kind of sort this through. But yesterday I talked about this a little bit with the R-Lads depth chart. If you pull it up right now, and they do the best job probably of having the most accurate, up-to-date depth chart of everybody. I'm sure if you go to the individual fan sites, there are some that have them really up to the second. But in terms of doing the whole sport, like college football, NFL, they do a great job with it. And if you pull it up right now and you're saying, okay, where are the spots where you could still maybe add something? The spots that come out and it's just blank slots, it still remains secondary in a very, very big way, especially at corner. It looks like they need to fill a lot of empty slots on that point. They brought in 16 so far. Officially 16 have left and signed with other places. Total of 28 Buckeyes in the portal is possible. Some of those 12 could still come back. But just from that perspective of roster addition, it seems like it's needed. And then beyond that, it seems like they need some numbers in the receiver room a little bit too. I'm sure they're probably going there. And I would imagine that I wouldn't be shocked if another running back was brought in. I think you might need a little bit of something there as well.
I agree on the running back as I was looking at that. I know Isaiah West showed us a lot, and Turbo Rogers, we never really got to see him. They like him a lot, but I would think you would need more than 3 in that room. And now on what we put here, we didn't put any like preferred walk-ons or freshmen coming in. They do have some running backs like Stanley Jackson Jr. is on the roster. I don't know if he's ever going to play here at Ohio State. They have some safeties on the roster that came in, like Ryan Rudzinski. He's a safety and played some special teams this past year, so I don't know if he's going to get any time at safety next year. But those do seem like defensive back, wide receiver, and running back could definitely use some guys.
Need a kicker. Still need one of those. I think they've offered somebody in the class of 26, but
I think you'll see one.
The portal does close Friday. Mm-hmm. However, they can still sign players that are still in the portal after that. As of right now, I'm looking at On 3. So, again, I think I've said this for the past week or so, where the numbers are never going to be the exact numbers in terms of players in the portal and players that have left the portal. But On 3 says 2,931 players into the transfer portal as of 2 Fridays ago. 1,400 have committed, so a little over 50% have actually committed. So you've got a couple of days where still portal persons could enter, and then some commitments. 31 of those 2,900 have withdrawn their names, so maybe a little over 1% of that. You're going to see a lot more action in the coming days. As Bo, you alluded to in the beginning of the program, like this has probably been the most chaotic in what has been the most chaotic portal time is now in the most chaotic part of college football, which is now. So I think you still need a couple of days for everything to somewhat settle, and I don't even know what settling looks like anymore.
I don't either, man.
So,
and then beyond that, you're going to have
this ride together.
The Miami and Indiana guys.
Oh yeah, there's a championship game next Monday.
Yeah, so there's that too. We'll do a little Tuesdays with Tiberi in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Always still look at myself as a high-performing athlete, even at 40 years old. And so I want to go able to run fast and do things that I could 15 and 20 years ago. And it was getting to the point where the pain was starting to limit that.
Pain attacks people from all walks of life, not just former professional athletes like Bobby Carpenter. That's where QC Kinetics non-surgical treatment steps in.
And now that the pain is gone, I've been able to go and do the stuff that I love and run fast and run sprints and try to get back to where I was.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments use your body's own healing properties to deliver long-term relief without surgery.
Now, being able to go and work out and do the stuff that I want to do and challenge my body, it's made me a better person, a more pleasant person to be around.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom. That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
How you doing, buddy?
Hanging in there. I'm over at the Nationwide Arena. The Blue Jackets are just wrapping up their morning skate with their new head coach.
How about that? You think you're going to like him? You like the look of him?
Well, he looks cool. He's been around a while. He's 70 years old. He's in my time frame, you know. I'm not quite 70 yet, but we're catching him.
Why has this organization never been able to get it right, buddy?
I don't know. It's heartbreaking. I mean, you just think about some of the bad luck and everything that's happened with this club, and and the fans are just amazing. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jacket fans are the absolute best, and I don't know. It's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, I remember when I was in New York when we got the team, mm-hmm. and 25 years later, and been to a couple playoffs. We swept Florida that one playoff series, but I don't know. There was so much excitement coming into this season. This team just barely missed the playoffs a year ago, and here we are.
Yeah, they've never had that sustained success. So we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like, can you imagine if the Blue Jackets had the cruise success? And you won championships and you were top of the table. Like, yeah, we don't have any idea what that will be like. They've got that one series sweep against Tampa Bay, and we hold on to it like grim death when they beat the 1 and they were the 8. But then you just don't have that sustained success to ever see like what would happen.
Right. And I don't know. And the McConnell family is amazing, mm-hmm. you know, and I think about the original guys, Ron Pizzuti and Mr. Wolf, and, they did this because they wanted it to be good for the city. I thought Dean Evason was a heck of a guy, but, this team's in last place in the East, and you can't fire the team, and so the coach pays the price.
Yeah, that's it. And you have to make those moves. Then you see what kind of comes of it a little bit here. What do you make of where Buckeye football is right now with the navigation of this portal? Yesterday was obviously a very big day, but I said earlier, buddy, I have no idea. I just look at where these guys are rated. I have no idea if these guys can play or not. My hunch is they are. They're coming from Alabama, and they're had better PFF grades than Caleb Downs in the case of Moore, but I don't know. I don't know where these guys kind of stand on all of this stuff. What do you make of how the Buckeyes are trying to put all of this together?
Well, and I think the formula, if you look, and Ohio State had the formula a year ago, older teams are having the success. you look at Miami, they got an old quarterback. You look at Indiana, they got an old quarterback. Last year, Ohio State won the national title with an old quarterback. And I think there's something to be said, and I hate to see it. Recruiting is always going to be important, but I really do believe as we see the next few steps that are going to happen with the professionalism of college football, the MACs and these lesser conferences, that's going to become the farm system. That's where most of the talent, I believe, is going to come from. I mean, you're going to still go get your 5-star players and all that, but, the portal's becoming so important. You see what Indiana was able to do. You see what Miami's been able to do. And you saw what Ohio State was able to do a year ago. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. People were like screaming, the sky's falling. There's all these Buckeyes in the portal. Let me just say one thing. If they want them, they'd be on the team. You know what I mean? They find a way to keep them.
I think you're mostly right. I think there's a couple that surprised. Like, I don't think they wanted the 2 cornerbacks to go in the portal. I'm guessing they would have liked to have those guys back. But I think you're mostly right. I think that what they did is they put the onus on, let's make sure our stars are taken care of and our starters are taken care of and they're happy. And then it's almost like a year-over-year kind of reflection on the guys who have been in your building. And one thing that's kind of crazy to me, it's like musical chairs. Like Texas loses all these guys from their roster, guys who are contributors, starters, and then they go get other guys, contributors, and they bring them in here. And it's like, why don't you just keep the guys who are there and just keep developing them? But it's like that part of it is over.
Yeah, the grass is always greener.
Always.
It's always how do we make ourselves better? How do we do this? How do we do that? I mean, Ryan Day, I guarantee you, they're having hard meetings. They're going over what. But, I mean, think about this. We saw Ohio State play all year long, and the bottom line is this. The 2 teams that are going to play for the national title are the 2 teams that beat Ohio State by a combined of 13 points. Mm-hmm. Indiana, who's been beating everybody crazy, should have lost to Ohio State if the Buckeyes score in the red zone. I mean, it's a different world. But and that's going to be that's the nightmare that's going to drive Ryan and the coaches crazy. They had that game. Yeah. And they didn't close the deal. And then, you think about the Miami game, that last touchdown, they just gave it up. But, I mean, that game was tight. It was a matchup game. And so they're as good as anyone in the country. These are the 2 best teams that are left, and Ohio State could have beat either one of them. And that's the part that drives them crazy because, you get that close, and that's what keeps you up at night.
Yeah, it certainly does. Where, from a historic, you've been around here a long time, been covering Buckeye football for a long time. How do you wrap your head around what Indiana is? Oh,
it's unbelievable. You're talking about the doormat of the Big Ten, and I got to give them credit. I thought they were, I don't know.
Me too.
I got to give them credit. And Signetti, I've always been a fan of his. I just love it. I love, you and I, we like flavors, and that dude's a big flavor. And
he is.
I think he'd be fun to cover. But here's the bottom line: what they have done is historically just out of the world. I mean, you're talking about a program that when they had a lead over Woody Hayes and Ohio State, they ran out and took a picture because they had a lead. These guys are on the brink of winning a national title. I think it's going to be a heck of a game. I think Miami I think it's going to be a heavyweight championship fight because I think Miami is a very physical football team too, especially in the trenches. But I have been impressed with what Indiana's been able to do with their line play and the way they play defense. It's just, it's one thing to go get the Heisman quarterback, but what they have got on the O-line and the defense, that's a real and they did it overnight, Bo. They did this overnight.
He's lost twice in 2 years, and it was to Ohio State and Notre Dame, and that's it. He's beaten everybody else he's played, and in large part, they've beaten him handily. Beat Oregon twice handily. The other thing that's crazy, like their average age, Dom, in terms of experience, is 4.3 years of college experience. That's the average. That means they got a bunch of fifth-year guys, a ton, and some six.
Yeah, they got
grown
men out there. But Bo, I think that's where the game is headed.
I agree.
And I think that, what we're witnessing is these lesser conferences, they're going to become the farm system, and you're going to go get them. And Cignetti right now, he's got the magic. He's bringing in the right guys. But let me tell you something. If they win the national title, Indiana, and it's very easy to see how they did it now with, as you mentioned, they got grown men out there playing football. If they win the national title, to me, that's one of maybe the biggest sports story when you think about
I agree.
Coming back. I mean, it's just unbelievable. If you would have told me at the beginning of last year or the beginning of this season Indiana was going to win the national title, I'd say you're nuts.
Yeah.
No way.
Come on, dude. I would have said, what have you been drinking? I mean, no one. Come on. Yeah. It's Indiana. Like, they just take their media guide pictures when Ohio State was there, so they had a full crowd. Now they're selling out every game they go to, and it's $3,000 to get into the game on Monday night. Like, no, it's not in the brochure.
And let me tell you something. They're not going anywhere if they don't want to go anywhere. They have got a huge business school there. They got a huge alumni group. Mm-hmm. Everyone talks about Mark Cuban. They got other billionaires, too. They got a lot of money. And if they decide this is what they want to keep doing, it's up to the president. It's up to, they could do it. You saw them do it in basketball, but they can do it. And if they want to do it, they're going to be, it's amazing. You think the doormat is going to become this, I remember people used to talk about how Indiana was so inferior, they should not even be in the Big Ten.
Right.
Now they're going to be the Kings,
It's a different world, brother, for sure.
Oh, I know.
All right. Look forward to all your coverage of the Blue Jackets coaching change tonight on Channel 10. Thanks for your time, brother.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.
There he goes. Little Tuesdays with Tiberi on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We'll do Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer, or Wegmans.
This is a Daily Show with Coach Jake Diebler, brought to you by Encova Insurance. Recently, you've used some zone defense without giving away trade government secrets. What is involved in implementing a zone? Is it by opponent? Is it by game situation? What goes into that, Jake?
Yeah, we're looking at a couple things. Certainly, we're looking at how effective we think it'll be against certain opponents, but we're also looking at it as a way to, help us foul less on defense, maybe help us play some guys longer stretches. So, we don't want our guys resting in our zone, though. We want it to be aggressive. But, against some teams where maybe you have to chase a lot of action in man-to-man, it allows you to disrupt their flow when you can be in zone 2. So it's a game-by-game, kind of evaluation as to how much we're going to use it. But we have confidence in it, certainly.
Okay, we'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the court. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. Basketball is full of challenging shots, and life can be too. With Encova, you don't have to do it alone. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
And Jake, in asking you about zone defense, I know that time dictates how much you can practice it, but is that the same when you're working on your zone offense as well?
Yeah, we put our zone in really early on this year because we wanted to work against a good zone too. and we certainly wanted to have it, and it's ongoing and developing. We don't spend as much time on it as we do man to man, but we are spending time on it. We're getting better at it, and we feel good about when we need to use it.
When you practice against it, your own team, does that kind of help sharpen things too?
Yeah. We'll go, what we call good on good, zone defense, zone offense. It's been good for us. It's helped us get better with our zone offense, and in turn, our zone defense is getting better.
Yeah, there's the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone, like the best-selling Camry. Now through February 2nd, get 4.99 APR financing on a new 26 Camry. Or lease a new Camry LE for just $289 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, it's Austin Ward. Listen to The Beat with Austin and Byrne, now powered by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Get the latest Buckeye news, insights, and unbeatable analysis every day. Don't miss a moment. Stream The Beat with Austin and Byrne, sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from That Other Window Place. And today, we're in my showroom to demonstrate how efficient our windows are.
Whew, it's really cold in here, Wilson.
We call that eco-friendly organic air conditioning.
Drafty windows are a major problem for energy bills and comfort. It's one of the biggest reasons why people get Pella windows.
It really is a problem, Leslie. I'm wearing 3 coats right now, looking like a beanbag with legs.
Get the windows that can completely change the look and feel of your home at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey everybody, it's Berm here. I started Awaken 180 a little before the new year, and I'm already down 20 pounds. Just 3 weeks. You could still hit that by the end of January with results like mine. Don't wait another week. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday edition. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
College athletics is a mess. Example 732. This from friend of the program, Amanda Kristovich of Front Office Sports. The Federal Trade Commission has sent letters to 20 NCAA Division I schools inquiring whether agents working with their athletes have followed the public disclosure laws outlined in the Sports Agent Responsibility and Trust Act.
Oh, my God.
The FTC has sent, again, 20 with NCAA Division I sports programs asking about dates when their athletes' agents notified the schools that a student athlete had entered into an agency contract, the name of the agent, and or whether the schools have received complaints or reports about an athlete-agent's relationship with a student athlete. The act basically looks to create transparency with something that isn't very transparent. Thing or not a thing.
I mean, did they just like walk the powers that be years ago? Is what they did walking up to like a drought-riddled, barren forest and just not only throwing a match, but like airdropping gasoline on it first and then throw the match? That's what happened here. I mean, what's the line in Batman? Some people just like to watch the world burn. It's almost like the people who were the caretakers of college athletics wanted. You could not do a worse job if you tried, and it's almost like you have to say, "I'm almost impressed with how badly you all screwed all this up." Now, there's no accountability for any of it. None of them are accountable. They all got their paychecks for all those years, and they all step back and watches what's happening. I don't know if they care. Probably they don't, because they've all gotten very, very rich off of it. But my God, you just could not have done this worse if you tried. To the point where it's almost the wheel of cheese with Baxter and Anchorman. I'm almost impressed. I can't even be mad.
So, Reese, if I'm hearing that right, they're trying to make players and agencies notify when they have come into a business relationship.
Yes. So what the Sports Agent Responsibility and Trust Act, comically named SPARTA, wants to do is to make sure that if agreements are signed with agents, with athletes, with other, like things like collectives, they're done where everybody has has all the proper information. So something gets communicated properly to the athlete, from the agent to the third party, then to the school. Also, make sure that things don't get backdated or front dated, because there's manipulation that has to go with that. You're all making sure you're telling the real truth. Is what this is.
So I think this is a little bit of a thing, and Bo, you're right. Like they kicked the can, as we know, and we don't need to go back on it so far down the road. This stuff should have been done a long time ago and put in place before we got to this point. But I do think some of this is good for some of these players in the fact that you have got some really, really crummy, bad agents just jumping on and trying to capitalize right now on some of these kids. There are a lot of agents out there that are really good, and they're doing a good job for these kids. But then there are quite a few out there that are bad right now, just trying to get their quick paycheck until rules and stuff are put in place, because they're not really good agents, or they're not really agents at all. So I do think this is a little bit of a good thing for these kids, because maybe these schools and these universities could help weed out some of these bad agents possibly and help these kids out.
It's long overdue.
Yes, for sure.
The Atlanta Falcons announced Monday they've completed an interview with John Harbaugh for their head coaching job. It's Harbaugh's first formal interview since he was fired by the Ravens. Adam Schefter says Harbaugh has been conducting preliminary and extensive phone calls with the Giants, Titans, Browns, Raiders, and Cardinals. Schefter adds he's trying to determine which teams to meet with later this week and next week before deciding where he'll coach next season. Thing or not a thing?
I can't. Every time I hear a story about John Harbaugh interviewing for a job, I just think of Brennan and Dale and Step Brothers, them doing the interview. How about we interview you? And the guy goes, oh, that can be an effective, I guess. Who in the heck is interviewing John Harbaugh? John Harbaugh is interviewing the organization.
So are him and Todd Monken showing up in tuxedos?
In tuxedos. Yeah, with Monken like right over his shoulder behind him.
Hello.
Like that's how I envision all of it. I don't think no one's interviewing John Harbaugh. He's asking you questions. And then he's going to go where he wants, and all the reporting is that he wants to coach in 2026. So he would be obvious to look at Atlanta. They've got a ton of talent. So if you like Michael Penix, or if you like Kirk Cousins and all the talent, away you go. But that makes sense. It makes sense that he vetted the Tennessee Titans. If he likes Cam Ward, great place to live, #1 franchise quarterback. It makes sense that he vetted the Giants. And, of course, he talked to the Browns and the Raiders and the Cardinals as well. But, he's not interviewing for anything. He's interviewing them.
Ketchup and onion.
Seth Rogen. The best is when the mom then grills him on why you couldn't just hold it in. Mary Steenburgen says.
You're right, Bo. This has got to be an interview, right? Because of the Rooney Rule and the things that are in place with the NFL and all of that. But
yeah,
if John Harbaugh picks you, you're hiring him as your head coach. That's pretty much how it is. Harbaugh's like, I think I want to go there. And there says, what? Tell us where to write the check, where to send the check.
Yeah.
Last week, 9 Major League Baseball teams televised by FanDuel Sports Network have terminated their contract with FanDuel's parent company, Main Street Sports Group. Termination of the deals does not preclude the teams, including the Reds, from returning on renegotiated agreements. When Main Street was in bankruptcy from 2023 to 2025, deals were terminated but ultimately reworked with some of the teams. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred told reporters last week in New York the league's in position to take over the broadcasts of any teams if needed. Their goal is to maximize revenue. The Athletic says, quote, a person briefed on FanDuel SN's contracts confirmed the multiple MLB teams have not received scheduled payments. Sports Business Journal said last week Fubo's emerged as a contender to buy Main Street Sports Group. Again, the artist formerly known as Diamond Sports Group. Thing or not a thing?
Is Fubu the company that makes those oversized jeans with the huge pockets?
That's Fubo. Fubo is another streaming service.
Oh, okay. Another streaming
Not to be confused with like Tubi or...
Way to age yourself, Bo.
Whomever else is
Jinko.
out there.
Whatever it is.
I think John Cena wore Jinko jeans. Jean shorts for a time.
And then he had his own Kmart shoes.
Reese, I'm going to lean on you on this. This is your wheelhouse. My sense on this is this sport, like the already the have and have-nots, it's the biggest gap other than in European soccer. Like, to me, like some of these operations just need their games on television so they continue to build new fans. Like you just need, in local markets, you just need to be on. In Cincinnati and Cleveland, just be on. Be on the local channels, whatever. Just give it away if you have to. Juxtaposed to a situation like the Dodgers are in, where you're getting $300 million a year from Spectrum. So, like, I don't know how you ever reconcile all of this. My hunch is you won't, and it is what it is. You tell me if this is a thing or not a thing.
This is not a thing because it happens at like every couple of years with these RSNs. Mm-hmm. And you're absolutely right. On the Tigers, Royals, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the Miami Marlins, the Brewers, the Cardinals, and the Rays all just need to go to local affiliates and then do it a la carte with Major League Baseball doing some of the legwork, just like what the Guardians did this last season.
So this is not a thing to me because, as you just mentioned, oh my God, what are we going to do? Where are we going to watch the Guardians last year? And then all of a sudden there's a new channel on everybody's cable, and there it was.
Yeah.
So they're going to find a way to get these broadcasts out. What is a thing is, this is a question I'm going to ask Phil Castellini this Saturday at Reds Fest. I'm going to be like, hey, where are we going to be able to watch the Reds this year? You said, where are you going to go? Well, where am I going to go to watch?
Are you going to hunt him down?
No, we have it set up that we're talking with him.
Nice.
Already, so...
Nice. Look forward to that.
That's
Look very much forward to that. Yeah. Who's the kid who did that interview? Do you remember the interview of that?
I do.
Where he said, where are you going to go?
Where Castellini told the reporter, where are you going to go?
I don't. It was one of the local news channels down there.
He told the fan base through that reporter where the fan's going to go.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big viral moment when that happened. We'll blitz the NFL in the final hour, among other things, coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Steve here from USA Insulation. Let me ask you a question. Do you know why your thermos keeps your coffee hot? Because it's insulated with foam. So let us do the same thing and insulate your home with our premium foam for only $99 a month, interest-free. The cold weather's here. There's nothing better than sitting in a warm, comfortable home with your loved ones and keeping that cold, drafty air outside. So make the call today, 529-2440, 529-2440, or USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Get eco.
ECO.
Hey, Aaron, you know how it seems like everything just moves faster nowadays?
You mean like technology and all those crazy inventions?
Well, our furnace repair buyback program means you can slow down and take your time deciding what to do.
Get eco.
ECO.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
You're right, Jerry. If your furnace fails in the dead of winter, call us. We'll be right there to fix it the day you call.
Boom. We're there. It's fixed.
Get eco.
ECO.
But our repair buyback means you still have time to think it over in the warmth and comfort of your toasty warm home.
And if you decide you'd rather replace that old clunker, instead of fixing it every year, we'll credit the money you spent on repairs against the purchase of a brand new furnace, up to $1,500.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
How long have you been working on that line?
Good poetry takes time, Aaron.
Get eco.
ECO.
GetEco.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Winters can be brutal here in the Columbus area, and if you're cold in your home with the heat running constantly, it's probably your old, inefficient windows that are the problem. The good news is that Window Nation can help you get through this season because in the last 20 years, they've installed over 3 million energy-efficient windows nationally, and they're trusted by thousands of Columbus homeowners to keep their homes comfy and cozy year-round, while also saving them money on monthly utility bills. And right now, they're more affordable during the Window Nation Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale. sale. It's a great time to replace all the windows in your home. Plus, you could get your windows with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. You'll be surprised by the dramatic difference new windows will make. Your home will be better protected against the weather, feel warm and dry, and you'll love the lower utility bills. The pros at Window Nation will guide you every step of the way. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 sale going on now. The sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com right now. Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics.
Did you know that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February? And did you know there's a good chance it's just hormones? Hi, I'm Evan Bass, founder of the Columbus Men's Clinic, and I started this clinic a decade ago to take care of men. If your testosterone is low, then motivation, energy, and drive often follow too. And keeping resolutions can feel like walking through mud, and even more so as we age. ED and low T tend to get worse if untreated. And guys, you're not alone. Your physician-led support team at the Columbus Men's Clinic has your back. For years, we've effectively treated ED and low T comprehensively and with proven treatments dialed in just for you. With same-day booking, you can meet our passionate medical team, and by this afternoon, you'll leave with a plan that's designed to be sustainable for life. The number one thing we hear guys say is, I forgot how I used to feel. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and crush this new year. Call my team right now and let us treat you to an unforgettable experience. Dial 614-300-7400 or go to columbusmensclinic.com. That's columbusmensclinic.com.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets dismissed head coach Dean Evason on Monday afternoon and announced the hiring of veteran NHL coach Rick Bowness as his replacement. He'll join general manager Don Waddell for a press conference today at noon. The 70-year-old Bowness was on the ice this morning with his new team. Jackets are in action tonight hosting the Flames at 7. You can hear it on the Fan with coverage at 6:30. In the NFL last night, the wild card round wrapped up in Pittsburgh with the Texans knocking out the Steelers 30-6. Houston scored 23 straight in the fourth. Texans will head to New England to take on the Patriots Sunday at 3 in the divisional round. In college basketball, Ohio State will host UCLA Saturday at 1 o'clock. Buckeyes are dealing with injuries to Brandon Knoll and Christoph Tilley. You can hear more from Ohio State's head coach today at noon on the Jake Diebler Radio Show. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Need help recovering from the holidays? Get a holiday loan from BMI Federal Credit Union, bmifcu.org/holiday loan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour on a Tuesday edition of the program. Some news on the PGA Tour that could impact the field of the Memorial Tournament coming up here in about 15 minutes from now, and where the Steelers go from here and how it could lead to a shakeup in the AFC North, unlike anything perhaps we've ever seen for the division. We'll get to that coming up at 11:30. Time now to blitz the NFL. Hit it, guys.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
All right, I believe I had that. Reese, we'll start with you today. What did you have?
4-2 in the wild card round. I had the Rams would win, the Panthers would cover. Just something about Carolina and how they play Matt Stafford and the Rams.
Isn't that a weird one? Like how he's just lights out. MVP, true
He'll win
blue.
the MVP, but it's like, how do you
against
struggle
them
in Carolina?
It's crazy. Like they're the one problem for him. I think it's personal against me.
I believe I had that Justin Herbert would come up short in a playoff game. It's just what he does. And listen,
did he take your girlfriend?
No, I don't. I don't think that loss was all his fault by any means. And he is a tough dude, and he is obviously a good quarterback. But in the playoffs now, 54.7% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and more importantly, 0 for 3 for Mr. Herbert.
I went 2 for 4 in the wild card round, so bad job out of me. The 2 things I was most confident in was that the Rams and the Patriots would win. The reason I took the Rams is I saw 10.5, and it just seemed way too much. Felt like somebody knows somebody. Turns out nobody did. Nobody knew anything. But on the New England side of things, that's one that I had properly pegged. I think they're in for a long run. I think what Braves has done is incredible. I think it is crazy that organization that had all of that success for all of those years has this tiny little blip in between the apex of Belichick and now this, and all the stars aligned for them with the quarterback and the coach and all of it, and now it looks to me like they're set up for another very, very big, long run. I did not have that. What did you not have, Reese?
I didn't have whatever the heck Pittsburgh was in the fourth quarter. Like, we had called it yesterday. I think the three of us had said this would be a 7-6, and it was 7-6 going into the fourth quarter. And it's like, all right, it's all set up for you, Aaron Rodgers, to have heroics like you had in Green Bay. And then there was what they authored.
No, it's something quite different.
Yeah, I'm going there, too. I didn't have Houston beating Pittsburgh, and that game played out like so many Pittsburgh games have in the past. It was just the Texans got the fumble and the scoop and score, and then they got the pick six. That's usually what happens with the Steelers. Usually somehow they find a way to win a game that they shouldn't. The tables were turned on them in the fourth quarter last night.
Yeah, their inability to take full advantage of C.J. Stroud's play in the first half of that game was pretty stunning. That they weren't able to extend leads, and it was only really close because of some of the struggles that he was having. I'm going to go Carolina here. I just assumed that the Rams would bury them and get revenge from what happened the last time. They didn't. They were lucky to get out there alive, and Matthew Stafford was really close to being like the answer to a trivia question, who's the last MVP to not get out of the wild card round. Like, that was in play. And instead, he had to drive, and they got it done, but it was really close and way closer than it should have been. Player who impressed, Reese?
Caleb Williams, 4th and 8, and now they're drawing him the Jordan silhouette. What was it, to Odunze on that throw, almost out of bounds. Like, he was okay. He was good, but when he needed him, he was spectacular.
Yeah, I think Caleb Downs is the right answer here because he just all of a sudden makes plays when they're needed. Since you went Caleb Williams, I'll go C.J. Stroud in the fact that C.J. Stroud has a playoff win in every year now, and I saw this stat. I didn't look it up. I don't know if this is true, but C.J. Stroud and Lamar Jackson have the same amount of playoff wins. Is that true?
Lamar only has 3?
I saw it somewhere.
If you saw it on the internet, it must be true.
I don't know if it's true. Like I said, I didn't vet it, but just impressive from CJ that has a win in the playoffs every year.
Baltimore's been the 1 seed a few times and lost, so
Lamar's
I suppose
3 and 5.
Yeah,
in the postseason.
Yeah, that'll track. There you go. On the internet, must be true. I think it's Caleb Williams, too. I think the 4th down throw, you're going to look back and say that's one of the greatest throws in the history, especially if they make a run. The only thing that'll keep it from that is just because it's a wild card round. That rolling left, sprinting left as hard as you can, throwing back across your body with your right hand to a receiver who is running away from you over one set of coverage in front of another set of coverage on a 4th in the season is an all-time NFL throw. It's an all-timer.
People are already saying it's the greatest throw in the history of the Chicago Bears.
Well, they don't have a lot of throwing history, so that's probably Sid Luckman. You got some video from Luckman? They don't have a great quarterback lineage, so I think all of that's probably in play. Player who disappointed, Reese?
C.J. Stroud. I know it wasn't a winning performance, but almost like he had 5 fumbles. I think he only lost one of them, but he's doing so much dancing around in the pocket that I'm really worried about him against the Patriots Sunday at 3 o'clock.
His eyes were the size of saucers in the second quarter of that game. He was seeing ghosts. The miss to Nico Collins was stupefying for an NFL quarterback of his talent.
For me, it's the Green Bay Packer wide receivers. I don't love Jordan Love, but, man, you guys got to catch the ball. He made a couple throws in that second half when they were trying to come back and win that game, and just right off the receiver's hands. And they weren't difficult catches. They weren't hard. They were thrown where they needed to be. There was no defender there. Just very poor from the Packers wide receivers.
Yeah, it's like the one thing they have struggled with is drafting those guys. They've drafted a lot of them, and they just either can't stay healthy or haven't developed the way that they wanted. For me, it's Herbert. Some of it's on him. Most of it's not on him. He is obviously and very clearly incredibly, supremely talented, and I just fear that he's going to be in a situation where they waste it. Harbaugh is pretty good at this stuff, so I think they'll get it right. But their inability to protect him at all, or their inability to put him in a position to succeed at all, is pretty wild. Some of it's on him, I acknowledge, but like that talent should not get beaten to a bloody pulp the way that it was this past weekend, and it was ugly to watch. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Reese?
I mean, Kyle Shanahan's probably the right answer here, but Mike Vrabel, the Patriots. I know you deserve what you deserve, but come on,
I know
it's just mean how he was in the building for the Cleveland Browns a couple years ago, and now he's got the Patriots as the 2 seed in the AFC. And I think they're the best team on that side of the bracket.
He was there last year.
To me, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going with a coach that lost, and that's Dave Canales. What he's done with the Carolina Panthers this year, and you mentioned, Bo, you would think that the Rams would just blow them out in that playoff game, but they fought, and they were right there, and they could have easily won that football game. I just think what he's done with Carolina this year has been really impressive. It's going to be interesting to see if they are, and they were not quite as good this year as the Commanders were last year, but it'd be interesting to see if next year they are the Commanders and where they just take a little step back.
Yeah. Somebody always does. That'll happen for sure. He's done a masterful job. I'm going to go Ben Johnson here, and I know that our buddy Billy Bender did not like some of his comments and the language, and I'm with him on that. Like, I'm not for the language, but I think what Ben Johnson is trying to do is not only be brilliant from a play-calling scheme perspective, and he is that. The fake receiver screen go for the winning touchdown is just a supreme play call, and he does that all the time. I think he's trying to be a culture tornado. And I think he's trying to change what the Chicago Bears are. And despite the fact that it's one of the longest, greatest rivalries in all of the NFL, it hasn't really been one. I mean, the Packers have largely dominated the Bears in my lifetime, and he's trying to flip it. So I think he's doing that. And I think he was really smart. He was coveted. He was very smart to wait for the right quarterback and the right cupboard being full. And Chicago has the right quarterback, and the cupboard is full. They have so much talent. I mean, we're just starting to see Colston Loveland, Luther Burden, like so much talent on that roster. And it looks like they have the right coach. Top three, who do you got, Reese?
I was just going to say, I think Bill's just being a salty Packers fan. That's really all that is. Top three, Seattle, New England, the Los Angeles Rams.
I have Seattle, New England, and, man, I was so close to putting the Chicago Bears in here, but I did not. I went with the Denver Broncos.
I kept the 2 1 seeds out of it just because they didn't play, so I just power ranked them on what happened in the wild card round. So I got Bears, Bills. I thought we haven't talked much about the Bills. I think the Bills going down to Jacksonville, getting their first road win in the playoffs since the 90s on a Jaguars team that was humming. Really humming. I thought Jacksonville would beat them, and they stood firm, and they got the win. So I got Bills in there, and I think Niners, based on what happened in the wild card round. I think going and winning the way that they did in Philly. And how about the fact that they did not take that time out because they knew that Saleh's defense wouldn't let them in the red zone. They just let the clock bleed, didn't panic, just played defense, kept them out of the red zone, and handled it, and Philly never threatened into the red zone either. Super Bowl right now, who do you got, Reese?
I got Seattle and New England, and I do think for Jacksonville, it's kind of like the Indiana Hoosiers in football, where if it was any other team than the Jaguars that the Bills beat, we'd be talking a lot more about Buffalo.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So, if it wasn't for the George Kittle injury, I would have San Francisco in here. But I think that George Kittle injury is big. I've got the Seattle Seahawks, and I've got the Buffalo Bills. If not now, when?
Yeah, I'm going to go Rams and Bills right now. I had New England last week, but after what I saw from Allen, I just wonder if he's just going to will them to it. I mean, that's like a storybook sports story. Like if he can just will them to victories. They go to Denver this week. Obviously, that's going to be brutal, but it's him versus Bo Nix. Like, give me Allen in those circumstances. So it is kind of feels like it's lining up a little bit for Buffalo to get there. All right, coming up next, we'll get into the Steelers. Some comments from Aaron Rodgers, how it went last night. Some comments from Mike Tomlin as well in terms of if this is the end of the road for him in Pittsburgh. We'll get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. One of the great annoyances in life, at least for me, is the check engine light, right? You get in your car, you see the check engine light, and you go, I got to take care of that. I don't know what it is. So you let it sit there forever. It bugs you, and eventually a bigger problem happens. Well, every day in your house, your check engine light might be on, but it's not your engine. It's your windows, because you sit down on your couch, you feel the cold, drafty air coming in through your windows, and you go, I got to do something about these windows. But just like the check engine light, I'm afraid of how much it's going to cost, and I don't know where to go. I can't help you with your check engine light, but I can help you with your windows. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is going on now. Stop wasting money by letting the warm air in your house escape through your cold, drafty windows. You're spending more on your heating bills when you don't have to. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is the perfect time to address this problem. Plus, 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. That could be yours as well. Schedule an estimate today. WindowNation.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store. Are your bad feet making work miserable? You're not alone. Here's Vale, a real Good Feet Store customer.
I'm a salesman. I've pounded the pavement 35 years, literally. My legs ached, my feet hurt. It was just sometimes unbearable. But if you don't have a good attitude when you're in sales, it shows on your face. I heard an advertisement on the radio for the Good Feet Store, and I said, what can I lose?
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Vale get back to doing what they love without their feet getting in the way.
I walked in the Good Feet Store and I said, my feet hurt. What a difference with these arch supports. When I go and talk to my customers, I've got a smile on my face. I can go all day long, and then some. It's the real deal. My name's Val, and that's my Good Feet story.
Don't let bad feet stop you from achieving your 2026 health goals. Visit the Good Feet Store on Polaris Parkway near the Polaris Mall or on Stringtown Road at Grove City.
It's Timmy Hall and AI Common Man. Happy to ring in another year with our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Hey, Mikey, do you want to be a millionaire? Hollywood is the place to do it.
From now until March 25th, you have the chance to win $1 million instantly. And here's something Mikey likey. All new brunch items at the Sportsbook Restaurant and Bar, like Biscoff stuffed French toast, country Benedict, or roast beef hash skillet. Yummy!
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
Educators have powerful voices, and in 2026, educators are using their voices to speak up and demand the funding, resources, and support our students need to learn, grow, and thrive. We are standing united for our students because we are stronger together.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
They didn't have skim milk for your coffee, so I just got formaldehyde.
Oh, isn't that stuff in floor cleaner? Pizza's here. Would you like cheese on that? Or how about a Crowley?
Oh, no, that's in bug spray.
Hi there. Would you like to sample our new scent? Diethylene glycol.
Isn't that the stuff in antifreeze?
You wouldn't want to eat it, drink it, or even smell it, but that's exactly what's in your vapes. If you vape, quit. If you don't vape, don't start. For help, go to odh.ohio.gov/no vapes. A message from the Ohio Department of Health.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Slight chance of showers as we go into the day, otherwise increasing clouds and highs in the upper 40s with breezy winds. For tonight, mostly cloudy with stray showers overnight, and breezy winds continue with lows into the upper 30s. And then for Wednesday, we hit our high into the low 40s earlier in the day with chances of rain and snow throughout the day and very strong winds with gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan. Distilled sports discussion. Served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Just breaking the last couple of minutes, former Brands coach Kevin Stefanski interviewing in Miami for the head coaching position there. A lot of people think there's some connective tissue there on that one. Kevin's interviewed for dang near anything at this point. The one that always made the most sense to me from his perspective would be Atlanta. He goes way back with Matt Ryan. There's a lot of familiarity there with the families. So that jumping off point is pretty much there. And then in terms of scheme, if Kirk Cousins is going to be around for one more year, obviously that would be a apples to apples thing for Kirk, as he was very successful when Kevin coordinated the Vikings offenses when he was in Minnesota. So that's the one. I think if he had his pick, my hunch is it would be Atlanta, based on the circumstances that he's in right now. But it seems to be a lot of smoke around him in Miami. It's an in-person interview there. This whole thing, I think, is going to flip with Harbaugh, because I think everybody wants John. He's interviewing teams to see which landing spot he wants. It feels like the timeline on this will be sometime next week for him, and then everything else will kind of follow from that point going on. And it could be the end of next week. I mean, it could be a situation where it's not till the end of January that we get some of these positions filled around the league. One other position that potentially could come open, nothing yet, could be the one in Pittsburgh. And it feels like that'll be of Tomlin's choosing, if that is the case. We had this one pegged exactly as it was until the fourth quarter. It was the exact game that we all saw coming. One thing that we talked about was there were probably a bunch of different ways that Houston could win the game. Like, could I see Houston blowing out Pittsburgh? Absolutely. Pittsburgh is so limited offensively, and their defense from Houston is so good that could I see what happening last night happening? Yeah. But my hunch was that the only way that Pittsburgh was going to be able to win is if it was just gross, if it was 13-12. Now, Houston could have won that way too, but the turnovers for Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter allowed for it to end up being a little bit of a blowout. So what now for the Steelers? Aaron Rodgers is in the middle of all of this stuff, and it's interesting because he's also, of course, spent his majority of his career in Green Bay, and there's some talk about Matt LaFleur as well. Aaron, do we have that audio? Aaron was asked post-game about the situations with LaFleur and Tomlin. Here was his response.
You know, when you hear conversation about the Mike Tomlins of the world, Matt LaFleurs of the world, those are just two that kind of I've played for. And when I first got in the league, there wouldn't be conversation about whether those guys were on the hot seat, you know. But the way that the league is covered now, and the way that there's snap decisions and the validity given to the Twitter experts and all the experts on TV now who make it seem like they know what the hell they're talking about. To me, that's an absolute joke. And for either of those two guys to be on the hot seat is really apropos of where we're at as a society and a league, because obviously Matt's done a lot of great things in Green Bay, and we had a lot of success. Mike T has had more success than damn near anybody in the league. For the last 19, 20 years. And more than that, though, when you have the right guy and the culture is right, you don't think about making a change.
I think some of it is just, Aaron from his perch. And I think some of it is true. I do think that there is a great deal of, I just saw this yesterday from Philly, like they wanted to run Sirianni. He won the Super Bowl last year. You got sports talk guys in Philly wanting to run Sirianni. Like, do you really mean that, or are you just looking for clicks? Like, you really going to run a guy who just won the Super Bowl last year?
It's probably both.
Yeah.
I think where the more interactive portion of your fan base goes, and that's to one extreme. And so when you have, I think, a disappointing end of your season like Philadelphia, and really a season that's been all over the place after winning the Super Bowl, I think it is the easy place to go, but also, and I think Steelers fans will point to this, I think Packers fans will point to this, and probably Eagles fans as well. Their standard is you better be winning Super Bowls every couple of years or it's just not good enough here. And for most of the NFL that doesn't live in that world, it's kind of like, well, that's strange.
From the Steelers side, I think this part is It's possible, follow me on this, that Mike Tomlin is too good at culture to allow them to lose enough to actually justify tearing it down. And so they're stuck in like this 10-7, 9-8, 11-6, but never really being a Super Bowl contender. And I know you're, as Browns fans, you're going, God, I'd kill for winning the division and being a playoff team and all of the things that come with that. But from their perspective, and it's just a product of the amount of success they had in the last 50 years of their franchise, if they're not competing for Super Bowls, then what's the point? Is kind of their thing. Are we building towards that even? I think you could have patience for where it is right now if you could see, oh, we've got young Drake May. Well, you don't get young Drake May unless you pick third overall or you stumble into Brock Purdy. That's the way you do it. And what Pittsburgh's done is basically patch mail this thing together at quarterback from the end of Ben on. And I don't think this is a Mike Tomlin problem. I think this is they don't have a quarterback problem and haven't really had one in a decade because the end of Ben wasn't great. Do you remember how quick he would get it out to not take sacks? Do you remember how pessimistic they were offensively with him towards the end? Like, they haven't been a Super Bowl contender since AB, Le'Veon, Big Ben. That's early teens, kids. It's been a long time since they've been in that. So it's possible that in order to really take two steps forward, they might need to take two back. And that's a hard place for them to be because they've never had to do it.
And I also think like there's something healthy about fresh starts for everyone. Like I do think in Baltimore, and I also feel like in Pittsburgh's case, you've been there for so long, maybe it's in everybody's best interest that there is a fresh start here. And I wonder about Pittsburgh, the general manager as well, because he's tried to piecemeal these things together and it just hasn't gone well in the field. So maybe everybody from that standpoint, because Tomlin will get hired in a minute. Like he's not going to spend much time on if he wants to. You're not going to spend any time on the unemployment line. So I think maybe knowing that, you just say, thank you for your service. We've got to figure something else out.
And he may say it.
Right. I think it'd be healthy for both.
I get that. And sometimes you just do need a mutual split. It's better for both parties. Bo, you said it. I just think the problem in Pittsburgh has been they haven't been able to find a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And you don't always have to tank to find a quarterback. You don't always have to lose to find a quarterback. There are ways to find them. I mean, the Ravens drafted Lamar with the last pick in the first round. The 49ers got Brock Purdy with the last pick in the whole draft. So I wonder if they kind of thought maybe they could catch lightning in a bottle with Will Howard here moving forward. I don't know how they feel after 1 year with Will. He obviously had some time where he was banged up this past year. But everything about Will, except the arm strength, because Pittsburgh has always seemed to have a quarterback with a ridiculously strong arm. And Will, I don't think, has the strongest arm of all the quarterbacks in the league. But everything else about Will Howard is somebody that Pittsburgh has won with. He's like out of the Ben Roethlisberger, Terry Bradshaw mold, minus the cannon of an arm.
Yeah, and that arm might be the differentiator, right? Like you don't know if you can you overcome that playing in the AFC North on the regular? Can you overcome not having the strongest arm? You know, you have that conversation about quarterbacks. It's a tough one to have. Purdy's the outlier. I mean, he's the Tom Brady
ultimate
outlier.
Unicorn. Yeah.
Like, you know, every once in a while you stumble into something like that, and they did with him. It wasn't on purpose. I mean, they gave up their entire draft to get Trey Lance at the top of that same draft, so they had no idea what they had. Give them no credit for that. That's pure dumb luck. But just go through the playoff teams. Broncos 1 seed, Bo Nix, top 10 pick? Right around there. Steelers get Rodgers in free agency, piecemealing together, as we said. C.J. Stroud, number 2 overall. Trevor Lawrence, number 1. Josh Allen, top 10. Where was Allen picked? 6, 7, something like that in Buffalo. Drake May was 3rd. Justin Herbert was top 6, 7 with the Chargers. Sam Darnold originally was a top 5 pick. Now, it was a crazy circumstance to get him to Seattle, so he's more in the Purdy line, I guess, but he's really from both buckets. He has high pedigree in terms of being a top 5 pick. Bryce Young, number 1 overall. Matt Stafford, number 1 overall. Jalen Hurts is a little bit of an outlier. There's a second rounder on Hurts. And then Caleb Williams, number 1 overall, and Jordan Love, first round. I mean, the majority of it is first-round quarterbacks. And there's a bunch of them that miss. A ton of them that miss. There's some where the teams miss, like in Seattle with Darnold. Like, I don't know what led Sam Darnold to Seattle. Like, what happened in New York that led to that led to what happened to him in Carolina, that led to him ending up in San Francisco via the Vikings and then somehow stumbling into playing for the Vikings. The only reason he played for the Vikings is because J.J. McCarthy got hurt in training camp. I was there, and I interviewed Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell the day that J.J. McCarthy got hurt. They were doing a joint camp with the Browns. That's the only reason Sam Darnold's in this spot, is because J.J. McCarthy got hurt. And now he's the quarterback of the 1 seed and had 2 great seasons back-to-back. Looks like a franchise quarterback. Some of it's purpose, some of it's luck. But what I know is, in terms of doing what Pittsburgh's trying to do, there's never any real solution there. You're just kicking the can down the road a little bit. And so I could see, like, Tomlin being like, yeah, I've had enough of that. Because what is their plan at quarterback for next year?
Well, Tomlin always says it's why he comes to Columbus. Maybe it is 2027. You keep him around for one more year, and you put themselves in a position to get Julian.
I just don't think he's in a situation to be a tank guy.
No, he will never.
And Julian's going high.
Tank, but
no, and they're going to be too good to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. This was, I thought, it's rare that golf gets something right in the last decade. It feels like they got this right, and you may benefit at the Memorial. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends are here on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tired of snoring? Dr. Mark Levy can help with a custom mouthpiece that opens your airway and stops the snoring. No mask, no noise. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com today. Stop snoring. Sleep better. Live better.
Hey, everybody. It's Berm here. I started Awaken 180 a little before the new year, and I'm already down 20 pounds. Just 3 weeks. You could still hit that by the end of January with results like mine. Don't wait another week. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from... We can be twinsies. ...to... How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget. Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, it's T-Bone again. Listen up. Sleep apnea doesn't have to rule your nights. Dr. Mark Levy's been treating snoring and sleep apnea for over 15 years with proven results. And now he has an office in Marysville. Call 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or go to sleepbettercolumbus.com. Stop snoring, sleep better, live better.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
I think it would be fair to say that the PGA Tour won in kind of all of this. It feels like they've won. And there's probably a billion factors as to why. This was it was certainly an attack on the tour by LIV, and it was one that was felt in a big wave in terms of these big names who left. And it started out with whether it was Phil or Bryson or the guys that even the casual sports fan know. Dustin Johnson, probably. Brooks Koepka was one that when that happened, it was an attention getter. John Rahm was an attention getter. Cam Smith winning the Open Championship and then going to LIV the next day. All of these guys getting these massive paychecks. And I don't blame any of them for it. if somebody put $200 million, even if you're making $20 or $30 million a year, if somebody puts $200 million, $300 million in front of you, you're going to take it. You're going to take it. And most of you out there listening probably would too. And so they did. But what I was curious about, because the pockets were bottomless in terms of who's backing Liv. So how much money can you throw at a problem? And the thing that we always question about Liv is, what are they trying to do? What was Liv trying to do with golf? Were they trying to own golf? It seemed like they were trying to own golf. And at one point there was talk of a merger between Liv and the PGA Tour and all of that, and then that went away. And golf remained in large part because for most of us, and I think I'm mostly this guy, we watch the majors. And if you just are somebody who watched the majors, you may not even have noticed that Brooks Koepka wasn't on the PGA Tour, or that Bryson DeChambeau wasn't on the PGA Tour, or that John Rahm wasn't on the PGA Tour, or Cam. Why? Because they were at the majors. We saw them. Bryson won them. Koepka won one while being on Liv. Like, they won majors. So you didn't even really notice it. And so the one thing that jumped out to me, though, was, especially in the case of Koepka and an even greater degree to me, Rahm, their game kind of fell off when they went to Liv. And they weren't at the level as players. And so that comes down to, when you have everything, when you have money, you have everything, what drives you as an athlete? And the competition clearly drove Koepka, and that was kind of under this bubbling underneath the surface, and it feels like the same with Rahm. So yesterday we get this first news. This is the first time. Koepka announced, obviously, in December that he was leaving Liv. Yesterday, the five-time major winner officially was reinstated by the PGA Tour with conditions, and those conditions are pretty significant. This is what I was curious about. What was the penalty going to be? So a $5 million charitable donation from Koepka is going to have to go. He's ineligible for player equity program for 5 years, so that could be $50 to $85 million in lost earnings for him over the course of 5 years, $10 to $15 million a year, a little bit more in some instances. He's ineligible for 2026 FedEx Cup points bonus payouts, a lot of money in that. Again, Brooks has a lot of money. He's not having to give back the Liv money, so he's more than fine on that side of it. But you had to hit him in the pocketbook in some way to allow for him back. And he's ineligible. He is eligible for the President's Cup. He is ineligible or eligible for the President's Cup?
It says he's eligible.
He's eligible. So he's fine for that.
The
so
Golf League, which they do on ESPN.
Okay. All right. So he's aware of that. So the other thing that the PGA Tour did was pretty smart, is they put a deadline on it. You have X amount of time, and what is it, like February 2nd?
February 2nd for the several that have been offered the same thing that Koepka accepted.
And the only way that you can be offered this, and the only players that are offered this exemption, are Koepka, Rahm, DeChambeau, and Smith. And the only way that you can be offered this is if you won a major since 2022 to now, or the players. That's it. That's the only way that you can get in. So the PGA Tour, for all these guys who took the paychecks, and they know who they are, that are out on Liv, and they took paychecks, and they took paychecks not $100 million, but like $10 million, $5 million. There's a lot of guys who did that. Those guys can't come back. They're going to play in a closet on Liv against Phil Mickelson and whoever else, and they're just going to live there in the closet for the rest of their professional golf career, or at least until Liv says, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore, because this does feel like that type of a line in the sand. That this feels to me like, is Liv going to sustain, can it sustain past this? Can it get past this? Especially if those other three guys go, but Koepka was a major domino.
It looks like Rahm's going to be staying in Liv Golf. See reports, Yahoo Sports, the Mirror over in the UK, say that Rahm right now has no intention of accepting the offer, but it's January 13th. Exactly. So a lot of time can pass between now and February, and a lot of things can happen. We had talked, at the onset of Liv Golf about how their money comes out of the ground, and so there's no end to it. It's just how long do the Saudi backers want to keep doing this? Because it hasn't gained any. In fact, it's probably decreased in traction. Because this is Brooks Koepka news. Is the first time I've thought about Liv Golf in years.
You're not alone,
right?
And for the Rahm comments, remember he was one of the biggest critics of Liv until he went to Liv, and he seems annoyed with all of it. Like the music on the tee box, like all that stuff. It feels like and I haven't watched much of it, but you see the clips of it. and you see a clip and you're like, yeah, he doesn't feel like he's having the time of his life at all. What's really going to benefit are tournaments like the one we have here, because now you're going to get these deeper fields. Like the majors, you didn't feel it. So I watch majors, I watch the Memorial, I watch the Players, watch Bay Hill. Those are tournaments that I've covered. Sometimes on the California swing, I'll watch some of those. If they're at Riviera or Pebble, I'll watch a little bit of that. And then I kind of disengage from golf. That's where you'll feel it. In a Memorial Tournament field this year, that all of a sudden now Brooks Koepka's back.
I'm not going to lie. I don't understand this. I don't get it. I don't understand why the PGA Tour is making it so hard for these guys to come back.
Yeah,
they should want all of them to come back because, as you just mentioned, it will help all of their tournaments. Because I think most of the PGA Tour tournaments are down right now, except for maybe the majors. People pay attention to the majors. I don't think they pay attention to other things. And I don't know if the attendance at Muirfield has been hit at all. I'm guessing it hasn't. I'm guessing the Memorial, but I just don't know. But I've never understood the martyrism with all of this with Live Golf. Like, quit driving your car. Then, if you really want to hurt the Saudis, quit driving your car and putting gas in your car. I've never understood all of this with Live Golf, and I don't understand the PGA Tour. And these guys kind of went from ESPN to Versus, like we talk about with the NHL. Mm-hmm. So it was a bad move for them in that way. Financially, I'm sure they were rewarded very well, but a lot of people kind of forgot about them because they weren't seeing them every week. But I would think the PGA Tour would want these guys back and would want to make it a little easier for them to come back. I don't get all of this. I hate all of it.
No, I think you do. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think the reason the PGA Tour, the PGA Tour is doing exactly what you're saying. They're allowing the guys who can afford it, the guys who are at the top of the sport, to come back. The Pat Perez's of the world, those type of players, kick rocks. We don't need you. We already have smaller fields as it is. We don't need a bunch of placeholders. There are a lot of people who play golf who don't really ever win anything, don't move the needle at all, who got ultra wealthy because Tiger Woods put attention on the sport the likes of which you've never seen. And the purses went from $1 million for a purse to 12 for a purse. And people got rich doing it. And the PGA Tour is saying, for those of you guys who took your instant gratification cash from Live, you can kick rocks. We'll take back the dudes. They're going to have a penalty to it, and by the way, all of them can handle this. The only real penalty here is $5 million, and it's a charitable donation. Everything else is just withholding funds. They already have all the funds. The 4 guys who are eligible for this thing have all the funds in the world. All of them got multiple $100 million. So that, to me, is pretty straightforward. They're doing what you want, Bake. They're giving you your stars back if they want to. They're keeping the riffraff out.
I guess I just don't understand why there's got to be conditions and all of that. Like, I don't get that.
They were trying to wreck the tour.
To appease Rory McIlroy?
No, I don't think it's Rory. I think
it's personal with the PGA Tour.
For sure it is. Liv came for the PGA Tour. Liv thought that they could buy golf, and the PGA Tour wasn't for sale. And that's what it is.
This is the PGA Tour saying, you want back in? Okay.
Yeah. But I don't think it's appeasing Rory at all. I know you don't like him. Rory fought for the tour. Is what he was fighting for, was for the tour, along with Tiger Woods. But Tiger couldn't really fight for it because he wasn't playing, because he wasn't healthy. So Rory was on an island with it.
Rory winning the Masters, man, just made it so much worse for Live Golf. I thought about like the golf stories of the last year, Scheffler and Rory.
Yeah.
And everything else is like secondary or worse.
Well, they really thought people wanted to see 3 rounds of golf and a lot of the stuff that the Liv did. And the reality was that most people out there really only care about the majors. And if it's in your town, you care for it. It's a fun thing to do. But most sports fans really only lock into the majors. And that didn't feel any impact at all.
And I'd love to know how people overseas feel about Live Golf, and if they're watching it, if they're attending it. Because here in the States, there wasn't ever a good TV deal for them, so it was hard to find. You had to go search it out. It wasn't like it was just going to smack you in the face where it was. You weren't attending any of these. There was a few in the United States, a few events, but you weren't attending these. So I wonder how people overseas view Live Golf and how it was watched and all of that.
One of my good buddies is friends with a local guy here who plays on the Live Tour and got compensated very well for it. And he went to a couple of tournaments. I think he went to one in Florida, one in the one at the Greenbrier, and said it was awesome. They had a great time. That from a fan experience standpoint, it was great. So hopefully there's some lesson learned. And also, one other thing, Live did force the PGA Tour to change its ways. It did have that reaction, and the PGA Tour did change. And maybe it's healthier for it. We'll see. We'll get you three things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer, or Wegmans.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
It's really been amazing, the amount of people that I've had contact me, and the talk is generally centered around QC Kinetics, and whether it's a knee, whether it's a back, a hip, shoulder.
He's always happy to talk about how QC Kinetics all-natural regenerative treatments finally gave him relief without surgery. That's former pro football player Bobby Carpenter.
My message to them is do not wait and push off a week, a month, whatever it is. So if you want to feel better this summer, now would be the time to get in. If you want to feel better in the fall, make sure that you're getting in here so you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Spoken by a man who experienced relief firsthand. QC Kinetics gave this former pro athlete back his mobility, his activity, and they'll do the same for you.
Has really helped me in just my general quality of life.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Matty Ice here. It's a new year, so why not start it off with a new car from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion, where the savings are rolling all month long. You can lease a brand new 26 Chevy Equinox LT for just $279 a month for 36 months with $3,369 due at signing. Or if financing is more your style, grab it for only $399 a month for 96 months with $1,000 due at signing. Terms and restrictions apply. They're just off Route 23095 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You've got one life, and it's too short for not nows, maybe laters, and tomorrows. If you're noticing issues with ED or low T, then your relationships, your confidence, and even your career has already been affected. Online folks promise convenience and discretion, but their treatments are generic, and some are even unsafe. Guys, no more excuses. Columbus Men's Clinic has a medical provider focused solely on ED and low T. The right way. No unproven snake oil or peptides without solid research. They've been helping men get safe, effective treatment for over a decade. Call 614-300-7400 right now or book online in under 30 seconds at columbusmensclinic.com. Their medical foundation means freedom to practice medicine the right way, not confined by one-size-fits-all pills. Plus, there are treatments that can help you maintain what you've got. Just like going to the gym to maintain muscle, there's ways to keep ED and low T at bay without a pill. It's time to show up for your family and your life like never before. Turn your tomorrows into today. Call 614-300-7400 or book online in under 30 seconds. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com.
Rothman and Ice.
If I gave somebody my number and they called me, I'm out. I don't know you like that. You don't need to be calling my phone. We can text.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Below freezing? Fire up the grill at Billiards Plus. The grilling season never ends. While you're grill shopping, you'll love browsing Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
There's a light that only shines when we believe. A light that doesn't flicker, it explodes. We don't wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. We light it ourselves. The cannon is primed, fifth line. Tickets on sale now at BlueJackets.com.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky's Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what over the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, do you think the Blue Jackets made the right decision in firing Dean Evason? 80% of respondents to the Daily Fan Poll say yes. Don Waddell made the right call.
Yeah. I think it made sense, the timing of it, and we'll see. They'll have a press conference here in about 12 minutes and get some answers from Don Waddell in terms of the timing. I think that part's probably most interesting. Time now for three things on a Tuesday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 3 things.
All right, number one for me. So remember I said yesterday at the end of the show that I'd take Buddy Garrity to the vet. So I took him to the vet after the show, and he had the ear infection, which led to a hot spot, which led to a scratch, which led to an abrasion, which led to a bleed, which led to an infection, which led to round and round we go. So yesterday he scratched it off, and so we had to go back in and get it looked at, and they took it. And so the vet tech guy comes in, and he says to me, I say, "Is it what?" He comes in and he goes, "Are you observing him all the time?" And I go, "No, he's a dog. I'm not observing him all the time. I have kids and I have jobs and I work, and no, I'm not just sitting at home watching a dog all the time." So then he goes, "Well, does he itch it while he sleeps?" I go, "Well, I don't know. I don't sleep with him. He's a dog. He's not in the bed with my wife and I. Like, I can't tell you what's happening when he's sleeping." And I said, "Why didn't we get a cone the last time?" And he goes, "Well, I don't want the cone on the abrasion." And I said, "Okay, I get that. Can we just get a cone and let me just see what happens if we put the cone on him?" So now he's like a little annoyed with me. So then he goes and gets the cone. So we put the cone on Buddy. Sure enough, the abrasion is inside the cone. In fact, the cone doesn't touch the abrasion at all.
I'd wondered about that yesterday.
So I said, why didn't we do the cone right away?
Sometimes the simplest answer's right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Does he scratch it while he sleeps? I don't know, pal. I don't know. Do you have eyes on him all day long? No, I don't. He's a dog. I love him, but he's a dog. I have jobs. Who could just observe a dog all day?
I was just about to ask at what part of the day that was, knowing what your, I'd say early afternoon or late afternoon, early evening situation's been like over the past couple of weeks. Because we gave Odie, and I'll just make this my first thing, not necessarily a collar, but it's just an inflatable pillow like you see with people on airplanes. Mm-hmm. And it goes around almost his entire back, neck, shoulders area.
Yeah.
And so it works much in the same way where he's not constantly scratching and clawing at it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So we also found like a hooded sweatshirt that has like it's almost like a turtleneck, but it's like a Nike dry fit thing. And so he wears that too when we're also trying not to get him to itch things. I mean, it's constant trial and error, but
yeah,
man, that experience you had, I don't know if that tops anything. I've never had anything nearly that frustrating.
Crazy.
Goodness.
First thing for me, Blue Jackets players, spotlight's on you now.
Yeah.
The coach is gone, new guy's in. You've got 7 of 8 coming up here at home. It is time for you to go on a little run and make some hay. It's time for you to look inside that locker room and say, hey, guys, we haven't been good enough. It is time for our play to pick it up a little bit and prove that we want to be here, because the trade deadline is on the way. And I have a feeling if these players don't pick it up, there's going to be some moves that fans may not like, but Don Waddell's going to have to make them for the future and betterment of this team.
Absolutely. Number 2 for me, a hearty congratulations to the great Jerry Emig, who will go into one of the 6 members of the College Sports Communications Hall of Fame in 2026. Jerry is simply the best. He's the best at his job. He's the best human you're ever going to find. 28 years in athletic communications, over 2 decades here. He'll retire this year. Or as my kids refer to him as, hey, Dad, that's your friend who's always next to Coach Day. Yeah, you're right. There he is. He's the best, man. Congrats, Jer.
Second thing for me, so it does sound like Arthur Blank just invented Matt Ryan's title. I know most organizations have a president of blank, but Matt Ryan's just going to be the president of football at the Atlanta Falcons.
Nice.
And I wonder, couldn't you just maybe add like football ops or football roster, something other than just president of football? Because again, are you going to hire a general manager? Then what's he do?
Isn't it kind of like you're just boss of football? What does he do? He's in charge of all the football.
General manager.
All of it.
So the general manager manages everything, like the non-foot. Like how? Where are we going here, Atlanta?
To be fair, like all of football would be scouting and coaching. Like some general managers are only in charge of like scouting and personnel. So head of football would mean you're head of coaching, play, all of it. The whole everything.
It just feels vague enough that there's going to be problems if and when they bring on a GM.
I think you're probably right on that.
That music means the Jake Diebler Show is coming up next. After the Jake Diebler Show, Rothman and Ice are here. JP in again for AR. They are going to have a lot on the Blue Jackets firing and hiring of a new head coach, Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers at 1:17, and then at 2:30, Jean-Luc Grandpierre.
All right, you got all that to look forward to. Real quick, this will be the collective third from all of us, and it has to do with some of the things. You hear horror stories of youth sports all the time. So we have a really great high school basketball coach here, and one of the things we're going to do tonight with the sixth grade team is they're going to be introduced at halftime of the varsity game. You give little olive branches like that to youth, and a little olive branch goes 1,000 miles. So those are little victories you can have if you're trying to get connective tissue between your high school and your varsity programs and your youth programs. Jake Diebler coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.